videos about the Marvel Universe, starting with the top 10 superheroes. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. This is what countless people want to ask. Yes, why not run away? Steve shook his head, sighed and replied, if you run once, you will keep running, but if you stand up and fight back, you will have a chance one day. Hiss. Countless people finally heard Steve explain why he fought back instead of running away. Yes, if you have an escape experience. So, when you encounter difficulties and disasters in the future, you may run away again, right? And standing up and fighting back means there is hope. Countless people were deeply touched. Some people who didn't understand Steve also nodded repeatedly. Just this little bit of video. They have already seen Steve's valuable qualities and understanding of life. Very good, very good, worthy of being a superhero. It's just, in terms of love, it's far behind compared to heroes. Video continues. I saw Steve praising Peggy awkwardly. Apparently the latter had seen through him. Asked rhetorically, you don't know how to talk to women, do you? Hear Peggy's words. People watching the video laughed. Although Steve's qualities are very noble and brave. But when it comes to love, it seems a bit naive. It also made their hearts happy. So they all wondered, what regrets could Steve and Peggy have? Video continues. Steve took a deep breath and controlled his emotions. This is probably the longest conversation I've ever had with women, and they don't want to dance with such a skinny guy. You must have danced, right? I don't dare ask women to dance, and after all these years, I don't care anymore. I guess I'm just waiting. Wait. For what? A suitable dance partner. When Steve said this, the background music sounded the lyrical music of the last century. It was soft and had a sense of age. It was like a gurgling stream in the forest, refreshing and extremely relaxing. People who are watching the video are looking forward to it. Looking forward to Steve dancing with Peggy. After all, the couples in so many of the previous videos did not give out sweets and eat them in the true sense, but did more things, so they are very yearning for this kind of love and want to see the love stories of superheroes. I saw the screen change. Captain America openly disobeyed the Joker's mission and went to rescue his good brother Bucky. Soon they came to the place where the soldiers were drinking. At this time, Peggy walked in wearing a bright red hip-hugging skirt. Beautiful, generous, and graceful. She immediately attracted countless soldiers. Peggy walked up to Steve. After saying a few words, he continued, spare base and GULIU feed 0 maybe, when the war is over, I'll go dancing, then. What are we waiting for? That's when Peggy looked directly at Steve. Bucky said from the side. I thought I could dance with Peggy. But unexpectedly, Peggy's eyes never left Steve's body. Instead he replied, the right dance partner. Finished. Peggy left. And when I heard this answer, the lyrical music gave countless people goosebumps. They didn't expect Peggy to remember what Steve said before. Hiss. It's on fire. It's on fire. There seems to be each other in their eyes. Hahaha. This pair is a perfect match. I like them so much. But this Bucky really has no eyesight. It's so funny. That's right. I'm so busy with you. Why are you joining in the fun? People were discussing. The joy of laughter. They are all looking forward to when they can dance. But at this moment, Lin Lan's voice sounded. Sighing lightly, as if with some regret. Once upon a time, he did not dare to invite any women to dance, knowing that he was not worthy. He only had firm belief and distance in his eyes. But until his dream came true, a graceful figure in a red dress appeared in his eyes, and I arranged a dance with her. But when the two difficult choices of justice and love are put in front of him, what will he choose? The background music suddenly rushed, the cold wind howled and made a harsh sound. It was as if he was floating in the clouds, but suddenly fell from the clouds without weight. When Lin Lan finished speaking, the hearts of countless people are also hanging high, as if they are weightless, beating crazily. Sonorous, the sound of steel breaking sounded. The hearts of countless people suddenly trembled again. Nerves also became tense at this moment. They want to know what happened. Video continues. The scene changes. The sea breeze howled. The icebergs are endless. A high speed train was roaring through the ice and snow. The camera zooms in. I saw Steve's friend Bucky outside the train, holding onto the fence with his bare hands, and below him is an abyss. Boom, boom, boom. Countless people were looking forward to Steve and Peggy's dance just now, and some even teased Bucky. But the reversal came too quickly. We reached this desperate situation all of a sudden. It left countless people unable to react at once. Stare at the screen. Looking forward to Steve being able to save Bucky. The video continues. Steve dropped the shield. We also came outside the train. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, just when he reached out and was about to grab Bucky. Sonorous. The sound of steel breaking sounded again. The sound was not loud, but it was as shocking as lightning striking the heads of countless people watching the video. I saw Bucky falling vertically, his wailing voice filled with despair and unwillingness, and his figure on the camera became smaller and smaller until he disappeared. Sad. Despair. Steve burst into tears and countless people saw this scene. My heart is filled with sadness. No matter how many times Captain America was defeated, he never shed a tear. But at this moment, tears burst out, making countless people cry with sadness. They know. Before Steve became Captain America. Chapter 102. Bucky, a good brother, has always been by his side, supporting him and protecting him. And such a good brother died in front of him. How can I not be sad? How can I not be sad? How can I not blame myself? At this time. The scene changes. Steve drank alone. But because he was injected with the serum. He couldn't get drunk. And this made him even more sad, unable to forget the scene when Bucky died in front of him. He blames himself and puts all the responsibilities on himself. If he didn't lead him to fight, if he could reach out his hand faster, then Bucky won't die. Do you believe your friend? Do you respect him? Then stop blaming yourself so as not to lose his dignity. He must think it is worth going through fire and water for you, right? Here. Peggy comforted. When Steve heard this, he clenched his fists tightly and said fiercely, I want to kill Schmidt. As long as Hydra is not driven out and killed, I will not stop. You are not alone. When Peggy said this, the screen suddenly specializes. All I saw was cars roaring. Captain America was in the passenger seat and Peggy was in the back seat. Ahead is a huge plane that appeared at the beginning. It is clear Captain America wants to catch up with the plane. Just as he stood up. Peggy from behind caught, etc. In the expectant eyes of countless people, Steve and Peggy were seen kissing together. In this exciting chase, they actually kissed each other. Hiss. Although Bucky is very pitiful, I like them both so much. I didn't expect that in such a tense and exciting situation. They actually kissed. Oh my god. What a sweet attack. This reminds me of Thor's girlfriend, who also dares to love and hate. Peggy is the same way. It seems that she really fell in love with Steve. Blessings. Fortunately, Peggy didn't slap Steve, otherwise it would have been fun. Thor got shut your mouth. Angry. Countless people are very optimistic about this pair, but the happy time is always short-lived. Captain America and Peggy were seen kissing. He still has to complete his mission. So he put the shield on his back. The moment the Red Skull's plane was about to leave the ground, the car swung its tail and threw it over the rollers of the plane, successfully catching up. In the lens, Steve looked down from above. Peggy looked up. There was melodious music in the background, giving people a long feeling, a feeling of getting farther and farther away, but more of an expectation. Just as men go out to fight, women wait at the door every day. The scene changes. Captain America enters a plane. Contained inside are weapons one after another that can destroy the West Coast in an instant. His strong sense of mission and justice makes him eager to stop all this, so the miscellaneous soldiers were cleared. Entered the cab. At this time. He finally meets his ultimate enemy, the Red Skull, and fight with it. Boom. At this time. Captain America throws out his shield. It hit the instrument with blue light blooming in the middle. Seems to destroy it. And the Red Skull saw this, also extremely angry. What have you done? No, Red. Skull was unwilling to give in. He is angry. The plan is about to be successful. It ended up being ruined by this guy. So he took out the cosmic cube in the middle. Suddenly, the hearts of the audience watching the video were beating loudly. Didn't expect the cosmic cube to be on Earth so early, but they didn't care. I saw the red skull holding the cosmic cube. Along with a beam of light that shot into the sky. It disappeared. No one knows where he went. No one cared where he went. Because the current plane is about to destroy the city and Captain America must make an emergency landing. But the price is he had to make an emergency landing with the plane. At this time tragic music sounded. Lin Lan sounded again. When justice and love are placed before him, what choice will he make? The answer is of course the former. Yes, when people hear Lin Lan's voice, everyone's heart sank. It was obvious that the two of them had not danced yet, and it was obvious that the two of them had just kissed. Why do this? Because he is Captain America. Countless people were moved to tears. They know. Compared to the lives of millions of people and my own life. He would choose to sacrifice his life without hesitation. Even if he still has regrets, even if his beloved girl couldn't dance with him, but his implementation of justice and his noble character made him make the most correct choice. There's no time. This plane is flying too fast. I have to let it fall into the sea. In video. When Peggy was trying her best to keep Captain America safe. Captain America spoke out his plan without any hesitation. Yes, he can't care about that much now. Any delay may cause irreversible consequences. Please, don't do this. If we have time, we can still think of a solution, Peggy said anxiously. You could even hear her voice trembling. Peggy, this is my choice. When Steve said this, he placed the pocket watch he always carried in front of him. It's a picture of Peggy. Then the background music became sadder and the sound of the violin was even more tear-jerking. In the eyes of countless people with sadness and pain. Captain America Steve suddenly turned the control stick downward, and the entire plane suddenly descended, with a roaring sound that broke through the air and headed crazily towards the glacier. Peggy, I am here. Looks like I'll have to dance with you another day. Hey Oli Khan. Okay, then next Saturday at the Crane Club. The other side. Peggy held back tears, as if she was making a promise. And Steve also answered tacitly. Chapter 103. No problem. 8 o'clock sharp. No lateness allowed. Do you understand? I still can't dance. I'll teach you. Just come. Peggy smiled. Suppressing the huge sadness in my heart. Remember to let the band play soothing music. I don't want to step on your. When Steve hadn't finished speaking. Then came the noise that occurs when there is no signal. Peggy couldn't hold back her tears at this point. Desperately whispering Steve's name. But no one responded. The scene changes. It's the scene at the beginning. Accompanied by soft, soothing and tragic music. The huge plane hit a huge glacier. It slid for hundreds of meters before stopping, and finally sank to the bottom of the sea. Countless people saw this scene. While they were sad, their hearts were filled with reluctance and regret. When Steve and Peggy said goodbye, they were still planning on that dance. Sadly, they can no longer dance together. What a pity. I no longer ask them to get married and have children. I just want them to dance once. Ugh, author, are you so cruel? Why did you edit this? Why? It's so pitiful. Maybe this is Steve, a just man who always does the right thing. Even if he has millions of regrets in his heart, he still saves the world without hesitation. Wait. What are you waiting for? Just say it. Believe it or not, I'm going to beat you. Have you forgotten that Captain America is not dead? Boom. A barrage made countless people startled. That's right. Captain America is not dead. Doesn't that mean there is still hope? The hearts of countless people were beating loudly. Crazy looking forward to how Captain America survived and whether he would have that dance with Peggy in the end. Thanks to readers at 15,051 and 17,561 for the 100 tips, as well as the monthly votes of readers dads Q777, Mao 2912, and 17,638. 73. Even if I have nothing, I still have Bucky, solitude, and peace. It's like being immersed under the sea. There is no sound. When Captain America flew the plane toward the glacier and followed the broken ice into the seabed. Countless people's hearts seem to be blocked by something. They are unwilling and regretful. Between saving the world and choosing his lover, Captain America resolutely chose the former. Yes, it is precisely because the justice in his heart is unwavering. Only then will he always be on the right path. Steve, who was watching the video, saw this scene. Also choked with sobs. The regret in my heart is infinitely magnifying. He also remembered that he had a date. A date with that beautiful woman. But at this moment. One sentence on the barrage caught the attention of countless people. That means Captain America is not dead. Yes, many people responded. Captain America is not dead. Their expectations were instantly filled. Will the regret of that dance be filled? Captain America is not dead. I believe he can dance with Peggy. Yes, I think so too. It's great. I finally have a happy love. This is different from the previous video. Shield love is full of regrets. This makes countless people look forward to it. Internal group 51914 at this time. Soothing soft music played in the background. It's like the first ray of sunlight shining through the window in the morning. Warm and comfortable. The video continues when the figure of Captain America comes into view again. Countless people cheered. Really? How could Captain America be dead? I saw that it was still the same crude ward as it was in the last century. I saw Steve, who was still so young and handsome. Just when countless people thought that Steve was still living in the last century. Boom. The scene changes. The music suddenly becomes tense and exciting. I saw Steve crashing through the wall and running crazily on the street, running with regret in his heart. Outside. It's modern society, full of feasting, and he is the hero of the last century, an old antique. The strong contrast brings a huge visual impact. When people watching the video saw this scene, their pupils expanded rapidly. Day 583. Never thought of it. It turns out that Steve actually jumped for so many years after being rescued. Doesn't that mean Peggy is getting old too? The hearts of countless people are as oppressive as if there is a big mountain pressing down on them. They had been looking forward to seeing Steve and Peggy dance. Who could have imagined the result? All this is surprising. At the same time, they were also feeling distressed when Steve woke up and found that the world had changed dramatically. How did he feel? Video continues. Steve stopped as he ran wildly down the street. It was as if people from the past had traveled to the high-tech world of the future with expressions of shock and disbelief on their faces. And at this time, Nick Fury, director of SYNOPSIS, appears. Apologize for the show you just made and tell him that he has been asleep for 70 years. Are you okay? It's okay. It's just, I still have a date. When Steve said this, his face was full of regret, sadness, and unwillingness, and the background music is at this time. Soothing dance music also sounded. As Steve and Peggy said at the time, the pace is slow, and it is not easy to step on her feet, and saw this scene. The heartstrings of countless people were severely plucked. They never expected it. Steve, who had been sleeping for 70 years, could only think about his dance with Peggy. Even after 70 years, he still remembers this regret deeply. Steve still remembers this dance. He still remembers it. Author, I knew you weren't so kind, but you still haven't made up for this regret. Ugh, woo woo. Why don't all the couples I like have a perfect ending? Either death or full of regret. Captain America really has nothing now. Fazio died in front of him, and his love may have entered his twilight years. How can he still dance that dance? Hey, it's really fate, but this is Captain America's own choice. Yes, no matter how many regrets there are in my heart. Chapter 104. Captain America will always stick to his heart and walk with justice. At this time, Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice sounded. He has been fighting for others all his life. Even though he has been sleeping for 70 years, when the world needs him, he will still step forward resolutely. But he became more and more like a war machine. He thought that, as long as he returned to the army and obeyed the orders, he could go back to the past. But the result was already different. The Best brother I once had is gone long ago, and the girl I once loved most is already in her old age. He even fell into a brief confusion, but he is becoming more and more like a war machine. Will he continue to be like this? No, of course not. It wasn't until I met him that Captain America gradually became flesh and blood. Finished point countless people are thinking point that's right point for Captain America point execution comes first point it is very difficult for him to integrate into modern society after sleeping for 70 years therefore he can only continue to perform tasks and continue to serve the country point. But it is precisely because of this that he misses his former comrades but nothing will go back to the past and the author's words have also filled the expectations of countless people point who did Captain America meet to become flesh and blood. Video continues point in the screen point not long after Captain America woke up. He was involved in the Battle of New York point. Even if he's holding a shield point however, his precise throwing and attacks that did not conform to the laws of physics killed foreign enemies one after another it's just that right now. He hasn't really integrated into the team point then came the mission point task point still a task point every scene that flashed was a picture of Steve participating in the mission point it's hard to disagree with what the author says Steve is always on a mission, just every time point he fights for others, and like a war machine, fighting alone. If his comrades were still there, maybe Steve wouldn't look like a war machine. At this time point the background music suddenly turned sad point the video is interspersed with a semi-transparent image point I saw Steve visiting the museum point it tells the story of his heroic deeds as a howling commando point and it stopped at Bucky's column point countless people watching the video know that Steve still misses his brother even after decades. When Steve left point the scene changed again point I saw Steve sitting on the edge of the bed point and when the camera zoomed in to show the person on the bed point it touched the heartstrings of countless people. I saw that Peggy was no longer so beautiful, but had entered her twilight years with grey hair, while Steve was still as youthful as when they parted. Steve, you're alive, you're back. When Peggy cried and trembled when she said these words countless people could no longer hold back their tears maybe there are still people looking forward to that dance point, but seeing this scene point they know that this regret can only become a regret forever, but they wanted to know point if Peggy hadn't made him less of a war machine, who would it have been? The translucent video disappeared point and video point after Steve entered the elevator one after another. Agents came in point it seemed like he came in by chance point, but people know that these people are Hydra who appeared in previous videos, but what countless people didn't expect was when the elevator is closed and going down point Captain America said domineeringly, does anyone want to get out before the fight starts? Silence, speechlessness point soon point this group of people attacked Captain America crazily point, but Captain America is one of the best in terms of strength and fighting skills. How can they deal with him? Knock them all down at once point. And saw this scene point everyone in the Marvel universe gasped. It seems like I understand why Captain America said those words before. It turns out it was time to go back in time point he already knew that these people were undercover agents. Hiss. Holy crap. That's it. It turns out Captain America has fought with them. He knows they are Hydra. You lied to me so badly. I was wondering why Captain America was an undercover agent, but it turned out that he knew they were Hydra. It seems that Captain America has really learned a lot. Not bad. I like it. It seems that they turned Captain America into a flesh and blood person. You're overthinking it. It's definitely not them. I think this guy, the author, will definitely give people a twist. Just when everyone was at a stalemate point when discussing who actually made Captain America less of a war machine point only seen in the video point Captain America holds his shield in front of him point then he crashed through the elevator glass, jumped from a height of tens of meters, and fell vertically to the ground. At this time point the perfect transition has arrived. When Captain America's shield hit the ground, the scene changed to a metal arm hammering against the shield, causing a terrifying shockwave. In video point I saw that the man's left hand was made of metal. He was extremely strong, and his fighting skills were similar to Captain America's, but in the middle of the battle point Captain America took off his mask point when everyone sees clearly what that person looks like point pupils dilate dramatically point his face was full of shock and disbelief. Holy shit, it's Bucky. Isn't he dead? It's so painful. I knew there was going to be a reversal. Hiss. Bucky is not dead. That's great. Steve finally no longer fights alone. But why does Bucky feel like he doesn't recognize Steve? Just when everyone was cheering that Bucky was not dead. A barrage suddenly made countless people break free from joy. Yes, why are Bucky's eyes so cold? Without any emotion. Countless people feel that they are even more arrogant than Steve, who is about to become a war machine. They are not the only ones who feel this way. Steve in the video. I feel the same way. Bucky, who is Bucky? Steve froze in place. Looking at Bucky blankly. But Bucky just left, as if he didn't recognize him. The scene changes. Steve was arrested. On the car, Steve looked haggard. Although his friend was still alive, he felt particularly distressed. Chapter 105. Because he knew that Bucky must have been injected with some kind of drug by Dr. Zala, the previous Red Skull scientist, to be able to survive to this day. He just looked at me like this, but didn't recognize me. It's not your fault, Steve. Even when I had nothing, I still had Bucky. When Captain America said these words, the background music is also getting sadder. Countless people also became sad in their hearts. Even though Steve was so thin, Bucky never left him, like a beam of light in his darkness, lighting up his whole world, and was his best friend. What they know is that Bucky is important to Captain America. But when they heard Captain America say these words, only to discover that Bucky is more important than they thought. Even if he has nothing, he still has Bucky. This sentence deeply touched the heartstrings of countless people. It's like, I can fight the whole world for you. They know. From now on. Captain America is no longer a war machine that only performs tasks. He began to become a human being of flesh and blood. Video continues. The picture came to the huge mothership in the sky. In order to destroy Hydra's conspiracy and save the world. Captain America must replace all the chips. The background music became extremely intense at this moment, and countless people's nerves became tense. Their hearts were high, and they stared at the screen, swallowing hard. I saw Captain America running up crazily. But just when countless people thought he could succeed, snapped, gunshots ring out. In the distance, Bucky was holding a pistol and pointing a machine gun at Captain America. After being shot in the thigh, Captain America did not fall down, but stood up and continued climbing up. He was shot in the shoulder and almost fell off. But he still didn't stop. His perseverance is admirable. His spirit makes people cry. The background music is more intense at this time. It's like a countdown to the last few seconds. I saw Captain America climbing up. Dragging his body that was shot. He gritted his teeth and moved forward, and then replaced all the chips within the final countdown. The countless people watching this scene took a deep breath. The hanging heart was finally relieved. It's just that the background music is not soothing at all. Everyone's nerves became tense again. Yes, the world crisis has been dealt with. How should Captain America deal with Bucky? They are killing each other. Or can't bear to take action and be killed by Bucky. At this moment, their sense of expectation was once again filled for Bucky. What choice will Captain America make? Thanks to readers fathers W4115 and M000 and 18,220 for their monthly votes. 74. Captain America vs. Iron Man. Drop the shield twice. Bucky is still alive. Whoops. At this time. Captain America watching the video. I originally felt sorry for that dance. After all, he had never visited Peggy since he woke up. Now look at the video. Peggy has entered her twilight years. I can no longer dance with him. However, he didn't feel sad for long. Then I saw a shocking scene. That means Bucky is still alive. Steve's face immediately changed from sadness to shock and excitement. He never imagined that his good brother who once died in front of him would return as a hostile person. And I don't know myself yet. While he was happy, he also felt angry. Nick Fury on the side was facing the same dilemma as him. He also didn't expect that Hydra would infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. so deeply. Even his friend and boss helped Hydra. Very sad. I find it unbelievable. You know that you took a bullet for him. Steve and Nick Fury were seen clenching their fists at the same time. Staring at the top of the screen. I want to know how the future Captain America will choose when facing Bucky. In this scene. It's Also what countless people want to know point, because they know that Captain America is no longer a war machine that only executes orders. Video continues. The background music sounds like the end of the world is coming at this moment. Depressing and tragic point. It left countless people breathless. Boom. Boom boom. At this time point explosions sounded one after another. I saw the 3 Mothra ships in the sky under extremely strong firepower. Countless flames shot into the sky, and thick smoke billowed into the sky. The countless fragments that exploded were shocking. They continued to fall from high in the sky, causing an extremely loud noise. Big, and just then point the camera zooms in. Point I saw Captain America, who had just replaced the chip. Staggering point. Even if he was shot several times, even if you can't protect yourself point. But when he saw Bucky being crushed under the iron plate, he resolutely came to Bucky and rescued him. You know me, Steve. Spoke point. He wanted to awaken Bucky's consciousness. He knew that Bucky still had himself in his consciousness. I do not recognize. Just as Bucky stood up point, he poured all his power into his right hand and hit Steve hard in the face. The burst of power directly sent him flying several meters away and landed heavily on the steel plate. People who are watching the video can see that Bucky's face is no longer ruthless, but confused. That's right point. Confused point. Steve's words made Bucky feel irritable and confused. Bucky, you've known me since I was a kid. Steve stood up again point, still trying point. But how could Bucky listen? Just punch him again and knock him down again. Your name is James Buchanan Barnes. Shut up, Bucky. Lost control point. His face looked even more confused point. It felt like something was coming out of my head point. It made him irritable and restless to defeat Captain America again. At this time point the background music becomes increasingly sad point. It touched the hearts of countless people. Chapter 106. Even if he is shot by his own brother, even if he is constantly knocked down by his own brother Captain America, Steve was always defensive and did not fight back point. Just like his shield. When attacking, he always attacks the enemy, but for friends and comrades, it is used for defense, standing in front of them, bringing them a sense of security. Whoops. In video point flames and smoke swayed in the wind point. Captain America stood up again and looked at Bucky point. Just when countless people thought that Captain America started to fight back point, I saw him make a move that shocked countless people. I won't fight you. You are my friend. Sonorous the sound of metal colliding sounded. Captain America actually threw his shield on the deck and then fell from the sky with cracks. Wow. Countless people in the universe saw this scene point. Their hearts were pounding and beating. It seems like a huge wave has been set off and it can't calm down for a long time. They never expected that Captain America would treat his friend so sincerely. Bucky shot him and beat him repeatedly, but he was unwilling to fight back. Captain America was able to do this to his friends. I really cried. Bucky used to protect him. Now Steve should also want to protect Bucky and rescue him. Even if I have nothing, I still have Bucky. Got the friendship between the two of them is so enviable. This is Steve. He is absolute justice. Even if his friends have been brainwashed, he will still not attack his friends. Although he seems to be disobeying orders now, as the author said, he has begun to become a person of flesh and blood. Yes. Now I finally know why. Countless people expressed emotion point. They finally knew why the author said that about Steve point. Now Steve and Bucky can be said to be opposites. Steve's mission should be to defeat Bucky and either capture or kill him point. But he didn't do that point. He chose what he thought was right and take your own justice and walk on the right path. Respectable and admirable. At this time point video continues. The sound of the background music increases from low to high, as if rushing from the bottom of the valley to the top. People can't help but think of Bucky, who once fell to the bottom of the valley and is back again. Only seen in the video point. Captain America lowered his shield point, but Bucky still knocked Captain America down. You are my mission, Bucky growled point, frantically punching Captain America's face with his fists. With each punch, you can hear the sound of bones hitting, and it's like a giant hammer hitting the heart of everyone watching the video, and it beats violently. Then complete the mission, because I will accompany you until the end. Steve said with a weak breath point, but the belief he revealed was so strong. Bucky also stopped what he was doing point looking at Steve angrily point, but he couldn't do it no matter what. Along with taking deep breaths Bucky seemed to be a little confused point, but before he could make a choice, sonorous, the sound of steel breaking sounded point. It also made countless people's hearts skip a beat. I saw the camera zoom out point. The iron plate was broken by something from above point. Steve, who was lying on the ground, also fell from a high altitude point just like how Steve watched Bucky fall. Lonely point helpless. This scene is very slow point. The background music is also very soothing point, but it is precisely this that makes countless people feel immersed and sad point. And the scene when Steve fell into the water, it also reminded countless people of who he once was and who sank to the bottom of the sea for the sake of the world. Only this time it's for friends. This clip made me cry when I saw it. I still remember that he once watched Bucky die in front of him and blamed himself. Now facing Bucky, he is still trying to wake him up. Now this scene of falling, it makes people choke even more. Why doesn't Captain America think about himself? That's right. I feel like what the author said is true. He always fights for others and is always on the right path. I hope there will be a good ending in the future. Yes, Captain. He is standing there. I feel like his whole body is shining. Yes, even after Captain America began as a war machine, he became a flesh and blood human being point. He is still fighting for others. Both his perseverance and righteous character are shining brightly. At this time point Lin Lan's voice sounded point. The background music also gradually became louder. He is righteous. He always walks on the right path. His beliefs are firm and noble, and he advocates freedom. He has long lost trust in this rotten institution. What he pursues is freedom and justice, but doesn't he ever get confused? Didn't he ever feel confused? Yes, he is now a flesh and blood man point, no longer a war machine that only executes orders. So confusion is inevitable point, but everyone watching wants to know how this guy who always walks on the right path and is shining with justice fell into confusion. The video continues. The Avengers were sitting together drinking point when Thor said that whoever can lift Mjolnir will be the king of Asgard point. Everyone tried it one after another. Of course, there is only one outcome point. No matter how hard they try point, neither can be lifted point. People who are watching the video also know that the Thor video revealed that only those who are worthy can lift Mjolnir, just as they thought point. When no one can lift it point, the background music suddenly became tense point, tensing the nerves of countless people point. My heart was pounding point. Could it be that there will be a reversal? Thor. Hahaha. This author is really interesting. Why would you want to create a twist when making tense music? No one can lift my hammer, Star-Lord. This is not certain. Maybe he will raise your hammer later and take away your throne. Thor. Got you guy. I think you are just jealous of me. Angry, Star-Lord. At **** when the two people started to curse on the barrage point, countless people held their breath and stared point. I didn't even dare to take a breath point. The camera zoomed and point Captain America Steve stepped forward to try point, and Thor was still drinking wine with a proud look on his face point. See everyone's jokes. However, when Captain America started to exert force point, countless people's pupils expanded rapidly and their hearts seemed to have set off huge waves, unable to calm down for a long time. Even Thor in the video immediately became serious when Captain America exerted force. Thor's hammer actually trembled slightly, even if it's just a slight tremor, but like a lightning strike, it shocked countless people. Holy shit. Oh shit. It's actually moving. Although he didn't lift it, he actually moved the hammer. Hiss. How scary. Is he really worthy of this hammer? Thunder. God's status is no longer guaranteed. Hahaha. Star-Lord. Hahaha. Thor, you have today too. Thor. Shut up. He didn't lift it up. Maybe the author deliberately edited it to deceive you. I don't believe it. Angry. Chapter 107. Countless people in the universe already have an idea in their hearts. Steve didn't lift Mjolnir though point, but his spirit and moral character are almost close to the spell cast by Odin. What does this mean? It represents what the author said, which is basically consistent. Even the gods admire his spirit. But point, see this scene point, more people are confused point. What does this have to do with confusion? Before the barrage could ask a question, suddenly the background music became tense and urgent, causing countless people to change from relaxed to nervous again. Although many people want to scold the author for being titillating, but they still can't wait to know what happened. Zero Ask for Flowers video continues. I saw a robot appearing in front. The laughter of the Avengers members stopped abruptly. People who are watching the video know that this is Ultron. The scene changes. The broken robot took on the form of Ultron. And standing in front of it is still Captain America. Just listen to it say in a contemptuous tone, Captain America, the righteous son of God, pretends that he is not a war machine. If I were a human, I would have vomited. Just now. People thought Captain America had truly transformed from a war machine into a flesh and blood human being. But they found out they were wrong. It turns out that Captain America at this time was pretending that he was not a war machine. While they were amazed, the screen changed again. After the events of Ultron, the government demands control of the Avengers. But after Captain America experienced this series of things, he refused to obey. Then there was that scene in the Spider-Man video. There are two factions, mainly Captain America and Iron Man. And confronting each other at the airport. See this scene. Countless people took a breath of cold air. They know. From now on, Captain America truly becomes a flesh and blood person. He advocates freedom and justice. He is doing what he thinks is right when Captain America leads the charge. When Iron Man takes flight. The background music becomes extremely passionate at this moment. Everyone's heart seemed to jump into their throats. I saw Iron Man falling from the sky, pouring his strength into his right fist, and suddenly struck Captain America's shield. The scene suddenly changes. It's like arriving in a small space. You can see through the gap that it is ice and snow outside. But inside, Iron Man and Captain America are fighting like crazy. And just then, Bucky showed up to fight Iron Man with Captain America. The two of them work together in perfect harmony. But after Iron Man's bullet blew Captain America away, he beat Bucky crazily, as if to kill it. Fortunately, Bucky's fighting skills were excellent, and he pinned Iron Man to the wall, just as he was about to take out the reactor of the Iron Man suit with his bare hands. Boom. A laser shot out from it. In the shocked eyes of countless people. Bucky's entire metal arm was cut off. And saw this scene. Captain America was extremely excited and rushed forward with his shield. Iron Man also fired lasers from both hands, which hit the shield and burst out with an extremely dazzling light. See this scene. The hearts of countless people are beating loudly. They have no idea what's going on. Even if you are on the opposite side, you don't have to be so deadly, right? So what exactly happened? Their curiosity and anticipation are full at this moment. They remembered what the author said. Didn't he ever feel confused? Now it seems Captain America is indeed a rational. Although I don't know what happened. But they could tell he was protecting Bucky. Him at this moment. No longer Captain America. More like a flesh and blood person. He is now Steve Rogers, protecting his friends. But Iron Man's words made them choke up. I saw Captain America being knocked to the ground by Iron Man. And behind Captain America is Bucky. When Captain America said, "He's my friend," Iron Man responded, "Me too." Before finished. Iron Man knocks him down again. And a warning was issued. But Captain America did not give up, and still stood up, and said those words, "I can spend the whole day with you." Then, with Bucky's help. Captain America successfully knocked Iron Man down, and used his shield to attack the suit's reactor crazily until it was destroyed and then stopped. The background music is desolate and tragic. Everyone held their breath. Even if they don't know what's going on. But it's obvious. In order to protect his friend, Captain America hurt another friend. And when Captain America was about to take Bucky away with his shield. A sentence from Iron Man made people know why the author said Captain America was confused. "This shield is not yours. You are not worthy to use it. It was made by my father." Sonorous, the shield falls. This voice struck the hearts of countless people again like a hammer. The first time I lost my shield was to avoid hurting my friends, and the second time I lost my shield, I hurt my friend. These two scenes made countless people choke up. My heart felt as if something was filling it up. They want to know what happened to cause them to break up. But this also allows people to see that Captain America is no longer a war machine, but a flesh and blood man named Steve Rogers. and his confusion may be reflected here. Are you helping old friends or new friends? But not until the end point he still made a choice. The expectations of countless people have been heightened at this time, and they now know why Captain America did not use his exclusive shield in Wakanda. They also want to know what will happen to Captain America later, because they vaguely remember it. Captain America can make Thor's hammer vibrate. Can it really be lifted? And can he and Iron Man get back together? All of this they want to know. Chapter 108. Thanks to reader Dadguza Shizeo for his monthly ticket. Factory 75. Captain America raises Mjolnir. Avengers assemble. Wow. When the battle video between Captain America and Iron Man comes to an end. At this time, the faces of everyone in Wakanda were full of shock and disbelief. Steve and Tony couldn't have imagined it. In the future, the two of them will not only start a civil war between the Avengers, but also fight. Why would you choose Bucky instead of me? At this time, Tony was puzzled. Looked at Captain America. He knows in the future, although they will be comrades in arms, they will be even more friends. So he wanted to know, why did you choose Bucky instead of yourself? When Steve heard this, he fell silent. Until now he couldn't believe that something like this would happen in the future. I always thought I was doing the right thing. But this time, is it really right? It is clear Bucky should be on the hostile side of the Avengers, even though he seemed to have regained his consciousness during the previous battle. But that doesn't remove the fact that he is the enemy. Although I don't know why Iron Man is so angry. But there is nothing wrong with Iron Man wanting to capture Bucky or execute him on the spot. It's just that this time, I chose to cover up. That's right. Protect Bucky. He even didn't hesitate to fight Iron Man. He also wants to know whether what he did was wrong. At this time, Lin Lan's voice continued to sound in the video. Helpless and mixed with sighs, along with the soft and soothing music sounded. Captain America was confused. He didn't know how to choose between the two friends, but he decided to follow his heart and beliefs and resolutely chose Bucky. And he also knew that by doing this, he was no longer worthy of being a friend. Captain America, so he kept his shield. But, as said at the beginning, he is a pure person who is not tempted by external influences. All his actions are based on his heart. He knows that he hurts his friends by doing so, but he never gives up. This friend may no longer be Captain America, but he is still Steve Rogers. Even if he died once for the world, even if he no longer gives orders in the name of Captain America, before the world disaster strikes, he is still the person who shines with light, the person who can lead the team, and the person who always rushes forward. The guy at the front. Lin Lan's voice gradually became more and more passionate. The words are like thunder roaring in the ears of countless people. It makes the hearts of countless people seem to have set off a stormy sea, and the waves are beating their hearts. Extremely shocking. Yes, Steve always fought for others, was always pure and unaffected, and always fought from the heart. He pursues freedom and absolute justice. He knew that doing so would hurt another friend, but would he agree in his heart if he didn't save Bucky? Won't. Of course not. It was precisely because of this that he threw down the shield with self-blame, because while he made the right choice, he hurt his friends. But what the author said, it made them even more excited. Really. Captain America saves Bucky at the same time. Nor gave up on another friend. When Lin Lan finished speaking. Video continues. I saw Captain America taking Bucky to Wakanda. On the occasion of parting, he said softly, "Don't do anything stupid until I get back." How could I? You have done stupid things. After saying that, the two hugged each other tightly. Just like that hug 70 years ago. Wow. When people see this scene. They remember the very beginning of the video. Bucky and Steve said the same thing. But this time. The identities of the two people were exchanged. You protected me before. Now let me protect you. Sure enough, Steve has always cherished his friendship with Bucky. And the scene changed. Tony is helping Colonel Rhodes with his rehabilitation. But at this moment. A white-haired old man outside knocked on the glass with a package in his hand and asked, "Excuse me, is this Tony Shitaka?" "Yes, this is Tony Shitaka. You found the right place. Thank you so much." Aside. Colonel Rhodes smiled. Then he said to Tony, "I will remember this joke forever, Tony." was helpless. Then he took the package from the old man's hand. Open. It was a letter and a phone call. Although the entire content of the letter cannot be seen clearly, the last line of the letter is shown in the camera. No matter what, I promise you, if you need us, if you need me, I will definitely come. Wow. When this line of words caught everyone's eyes, they know it now. This must have been a handwritten letter from Steve to Tony. Sure enough, Steve never gave up his friendship with Tony. On the contrary, he really takes it seriously. However, when this scene came out, the background music has become quite exciting, lively, and rhythmic. Listening to the drums makes countless people's blood boil. I don't know why, but it feels like it's on fire. After reading that line, in the video countless scenes of Captain America leading the charge flashed across the screen. Or jump from a high altitude, or fight with enemies. Every time a scene appears, as long as he is there, I feel extremely safe. It seems to be true to what I just said. As long as you need him, he will come, and every transition perfectly matches the rhythm of the drums. It makes people's blood boil and at the same time, goosebumps stand up. Battle of New York. They stand together. Ultron versus they stand together. And a war in Wakanda, although not together, but in the screen. Another picture of Captain America leading the charge flashed. He is like the backbone. As long as he is there, it seems that they can win all impossible wars. At this time, a scene that made countless people's scalps go numb flashed by. In a semi-transparent screen. Tony asked, how do you defeat that kind of enemy? Together. Together, we are going to lose. Then, let's lose together. Boom. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109. When these words sounded, countless people feel their hearts pounding. It seems like a huge wave has been set off, and it can't calm down for a long time. I feel my scalp is numb and my whole body is shaking with excitement. When the translucent screen disappears, snapped, there was a snap of fingers. In the screen. I saw Captain America standing there alone. Lonely and unwilling. And Bucky in front of him. It turned into countless fragments and dissipated in the sky. The background music suddenly becomes sad. And there was the sound of hammer hitting iron. It shocked the hearts of countless people. It seems to correspond to the sentence just now. Transfer group 893,964,460. Then let's lose together. Yes, this time they lost completely. But people watching the video know that they can still fight together, because if Captain America is still there, he will desperately look for hope. In an instant. Countless people clenched their fists. They want to see Captain America in the future battle. At this time. Lin Lan's voice came to mind. There is hope in the depression, like a beam of light in the darkness lighting up the entire sky. When asked what he should do if he loses, he said, let's lose together. Yes, they lost completely this time, but don't forget, Captain America often says, I can spend the whole day with you. This sentence represents his perseverance. It represents his spirit of never giving up. As long as he is here, even if he is alone, he will fight until dawn. Passion. Be inspired. When Lin Lan's voice fell. The sad hearts of countless people were once again excited, although they know that the author likes to make people's moods rise and fall. But they have absolutely no control over it. Yes, he witnessed his former comrades turn into ashes one after another in front of him. How could Captain America give up? Even if he is alone, he will still fight alone. At this time. Video continues. The background music gradually started to burn. Their sense of expectation is also fuller this time, because what's on the screen is the scene of the final battle. Be aware of previous videos, only a little bit was revealed. But at this time, they believe that they will definitely reveal a lot of information only seen in the video. Thor holds Mjolnir and Storm Axe in both hands. It seems to have taken over the scene from Thor's video. I saw the God of Thunder rushing forward. Although his body was a lot fatter, it did not prevent him from being violent with the power of the God of Thunder. Whoosh. At this time. Thor threw Thor's hammer out, causing a roar that broke through the air, just as it was about to hit Thanos. Boom. Astonishing sound of impact resounded, and Thor's hammer hit Iron Man, who was being used as a shield by Thanos, and blasted him away in an instant. Seeing this scene, Thor roared, sprint forward, dodge the long knife thrown by Thanos. Immediately, he slashed at him with the storm axe. Clang! The sound of metal collision resounded. Countless electric sparks flew everywhere, and accompanied by bursts of lightning arcs. The storm axe suppressed Thanos' long knife hard. Just when everyone thought Thor was about to show off his power, Thanos directly knocked away his storm axe, then lifted up Thor and threw him heavily on the mound. Then he released his power in one breath and kept bombarding him with his right fist. One punch, two punches, three punches. Every punch made the sound of broken bones. Everyone who saw this scene felt as if the punch hit their own face, as if it was extremely painful. And this time Thor, the god of thunder, summoned his storm axe, but Thanos snatched it away and pinned it down on the god of thunder, even though Thor held on with all his might. But the camera zooms in. You can see that the storm battle axe pierced the chest with extremely sharp points. It is an inverse contrast to the time when Thor struck down Thanos. It made countless people nervous and had a bad feeling. Dog author, please don't let Thor die. Thor's current state is so bad that it can't be compared with before. He can't even defeat Thanos without gems. He's dead. Please don't let Thor die. Sad. Cry. Countless people burst into tears. They saw this scene. I knew that Thor would not end well. After all, his condition has declined a lot. They feel sorry for this guy. If it hadn't been for not stopping that finger snap, Thor wouldn't have fallen into this state. However, just when countless people thought that Thor was going to die. At this time, exciting and majestic music sounded in the background. Like a bolt of lightning piercing the silent night sky. It shocked the hearts of countless people. In video. Thanos was constantly pressing down on the storm axe, and blood was flowing from the corners of Thor's mouth. The result is at this critical moment, boom, the shocking sound of impact resounded. I saw a hammer making a whistling sound that broke through the air and hit Thanos heavily, knocking him away and saving Thor. At this time, the camera is also zoomed in, and you can see that the hammer is Thor's hammer. Boom. Countless people's minds are buzzing. My heart was beating like a huge wave. Their pupils dilated rapidly. They all took a breath and stared at the screen. The sense of anticipation is full at this moment. The hammer was not summoned by Thor. Could it be that man? Is it him? That's right. It's him. When the camera moves with Thor's hammer in the eyes of countless people who were shocked, excited, and surprised. I saw Captain America holding up a shield in his left hand and holding Mjolnir in his right hand. Just standing there, he looked like he was standing tall with light all over his body. Wherever he is needed, he will definitely come. It's him. It's him. I knew it. It feels numb. It's great. The captain really lifted it up. It feels so good. It feels so good. I knew he could lift it. Good guy. I pretended that I couldn't lift it before. Now I can do it smoothly. You are truly worthy of being the captain. Chapter 110. Sure enough, as the author said, even the gods admire his spirit. Although he is immortal, he lifted Mjolnir. Salute to the eternal captain. Salute to Captain. The entire Marvel universe screamed crazily. They were extremely excited. Sure enough, where there is a captain, there is a sense of security. Only seen in the video. Captain America's shield on his left hand and Thor's hammer on his right hand work in perfect harmony. It was as if he had practiced secretly in private, and he was so smooth that he knocked Thanos to the ground in just 3 or 2 strokes, just as countless people thought. When Thanos can be defeated. But they forgot that Thanos' strength and fighting skills even knocked Hulk into autism. Group key wine. 1. Yaogu bang bang bang. 1.3 Very quickly. Thanos has the upper hand. Knocked down the captain's Thor's hammer, and holding a long knife, he cut his thighs and arms open. Blood flowed, and the shield in his hand was shattered. He was blasted away more than 10 meters and fell to the ground, sat, crying. Countless people feel pain in their hearts. They didn't expect it. Even if Captain holds Mjolnir, he will lose to Thanos, but they knew that the captain would not fall like this. Really. Captain America stood up. Even though the shield in his left hand was broken. but he still tightened the belt on his left hand. The blood was dripping, and his teeth were clenched. The screen zooms out. I saw the captain walking towards Thanos. Everyone who is watching the video feels a sense of loneliness. Even if everyone falls, he will still feel the loneliness of fighting alone until dawn. As for why we say dawn, because he can spend all day, however, at a time when countless people's hearts are extremely heavy. Suddenly, a voice sounded, "Captain, can you hear me?" The words just fell. Orange circles of light appeared one after another behind the captain. Familiar faces emerged one after another. The scene is extremely huge and shocking. It made goosebumps stand on the skin of countless people, and tears could not stop flowing from their eyes. When everyone gathers, the familiar music sounded in the background at this moment, magnificent and powerful, as if it could stabilize everyone's hearts. Then in the shocked eyes of countless people, Captain America stood at the front. The left hand holds a broken shield. He caught Thor's hammer with his right hand and let out a low roar. Avengers, gather. Thanks to readers add 17,640 and 18,629 for their monthly votes. 76. Captain Marvel appears, and Thanos puts on the gloves again. Thor. God, if you laugh at me again, I will let you taste the feeling of being shocked by Pikachu. That's right. Our new king of Asgard fell for the sake of the entire universe. That's right. You have no right to laugh at this time. Holy area. When the video showed Thor being beaten by Thanos, countless people on the barrage were laughing at Thor's declining condition due to his weight gain. So there was such a dramatic scene. All of Asgard is helping Thor curse the entire universe. Because in their eyes the god of thunder's condition has declined for the sake of the safety of the entire universe. However, just when everyone in Asgard thought that Thor was about to be killed by Thanos, a hammer appeared and blasted Thanos away. When everyone in Asgard saw this scene, they all breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that Thor had summoned Mjolnir in time, and exclaimed that their new king could turn defeat into victory. But Thor was the only one standing there blankly. Then he said dully, "Hey, didn't you see that the hammer was not summoned by me, gods? Wasn't it summoned by the king? Who else could it be?" When the doubts in their hearts were infinitely magnified, it turned out that Mjolnir did not fly into the hands of Thor as they imagined, but flew into the hands of Captain America. Holy crap. Did Captain America really pick it up? I was stupid. I thought the author deliberately edited it like that when I tried it before. Good guy. It turns out he was pretending that he couldn't pick it up. Just when everyone in Asgard was shocked. The god of thunder on the side suffered a huge blow. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. At this time, Thor's whole body trembled and he roared. His face was full of horror and disbelief. How could a mortal be able to lift his own Thor's hammer? Boom. His heart was beating hard. Of the people he had ever met, only he, Odin, and his sister Hela, who appears in the video, can lift this hammer. Apart from that, there is no one else. And now in the video, Captain America 09 raised his hammer and used it so smoothly. You still told me that you can't lift it. Good guy. It's so pretentious. Just admit it, Thor. He does deserve that hammer. At this time, Odin, who was sitting on the throne, spoke softly. In the video, he had cast a spell himself. Anyone who deserves it. All can use Mjolnir. So if Captain America can lift the hammer, it already shows that he is worthy. Thor heard this. He also lowered his head. He had to admit that this guy's spirit was indeed worthy of respect and admiration, and he wanted to know too. The battle behind. Did they win or not? The other side. Wakanda. When Captain America raised Mjolnir, Peter Parker jumped up with excitement. He didn't expect that. My idol has really been recognized by Quake. As the author said, even the gods would admire his spirit. And Captain America Steve is also extremely excited. Myself in the future. Can you guide everyone to victory? He wants to know. And that's what the Avengers on the side want to know. This is what everyone in the universe who is watching the video wants to know. Chapter 111. Soon. Video continues. The background music is extremely exciting. Just when Captain America said those words, the whole world is shaking. All I saw on the left were warriors fighting for the world. As for the right side, there is Thanos' terrifying legion. I saw the screen change. Connected with Wanda in the video. Thanos couldn't resist Wanda's anger order to fire. Suddenly, countless light bullets and rays pierced the sky, heading downwards like meteors. Boom. Boom boom. Earth-shattering explosions resounded through the sky. Looking down from the sky, countless flames bloomed one by one like fire lotuses. The bursting smoke surged like a tsunami, shaking up layers of fire. The impact airwave blasted away both heroes and enemies, and the momentum created could only be described as devastating, and the dikes broke. A large amount of seawater poured into the battlefield like an intrusion. If not controlled, that would even cause casualties. Just at the critical moment, Doctor Strange appeared and used magic to keep the water rising, but the price was that he had to stand here. Countless people saw this scene, choking with sadness. Even though the background music is exciting, their hearts are still extremely heavy. It's already so difficult for these superheroes to go all the way, but I didn't expect that the decisive battle would be even harder. It's the kind that makes people's scalp tingle and their backs run cold just by looking at it. If they were asked to face it, how dare they? Come on for me. We must win. We must win. Please, come on. Come on. Kill Thanos. Kill that purple sweet potato guy. No, I don't ask for anything in my life. I just want you to win for me once. I really want to see you win, and then sit together and drink like last time. Rush. Countless people shouted hoarse. Countless people cheered. Although they know that the video shows the future, but after watching so many videos, their hearts have long been connected with superheroes. Some even put themselves into the characters. They have only one hope, and that is victory. As the music gets more and more intense, the battle in the video is getting more and more intense. Only seen in the screen. The glove used by the Hulk to snap his fingers keeps going back and forth in the hands of the superhero, and their target seemed to be a vehicle far away. See this scene. Countless people who were shouting held their breaths and concentrated. My nerves were tense at this moment. I saw the little spider holding the glove, floating with the help of the Valkyrie Pepper. Disappointing. However, the little spider was still hit by the light bullet. It fell heavily to the ground. Just when countless people were worried about the safety of little spider. Suddenly, the background music stopped, and the battle in the video seems to be still at this moment, with no more light bombs or light shooting to the ground. It's not just the heroes who are fighting who are confused. Even people watching the video were confused. Why did you stop shooting? But at this moment, the camera turned to the huge warship in the sky. I saw countless missiles pointing at the sky, firing light bullets or rays, shooting wildly and instantly like countless meteors piercing the sky. The scene was extremely shocking. This scene made countless people dumbfounded. I'm stupid. I was playing well, but why did my style suddenly change? I feel something is wrong. What are they fighting? I wonder, will someone more awesome come out? Hiss. It's very possible. Just when people were speculating, nervous urgent music suddenly played in the background. It made countless people's nerves tense. My heart beats to the beat of the drum. The sense of anticipation is full at this moment. At this time, video continues. Looking at the huge warship from the sky, I saw something like a meteorite with terrifying energy ripples wrapped around its body, diving towards Thanos' warship from high in the sky at an extremely fast speed. Then, in the eyes of countless people in shock and disbelief, it penetrated one warship after another, instantly disintegrating the warships. Suddenly, fire and smoke were everywhere, and the sound of explosions resounded through the sky. The huge warships directly crashed into the sea, setting off hundreds of the tsunami that reached into the sky. Can only be described as shocking. Boom. An astonishing sound of impact resounded, and a figure fell heavily to the ground, with countless colorful energy ripples washing away. When the people in the video moved their eyes from the warship to the figure, they all gasped and saw that the figure turned out to be a woman, and other heroines appeared one after another and came to her side. Although many people are wondering why the Hulk's girlfriend, who has always been by Captain America's side, has disappeared. But more of their eyes are on Captain Marvel. Nick Fury. I knew she would show up. Captain Marvel. Holy crap. This woman is so fierce. It looks like there's a Captain America on the man's side and a Captain Marvel on the woman's side. So we are not going to win. Hiss. Destroyed an entire warship by one person? This damn Thanos is waiting for you to die. Ha ha ha. Thanos, get the hell out of here. You are dead today, Thanos. Ha, that's not necessarily the case. Just when countless people thought this battle was absolutely one point, but I didn't expect that the scene would change directly. Accompanied by tense music. Captain Marvel and Thanos are fighting for the 6th gauntlet. However, even though Captain Marvel has a strong head point, but Thanos cleverly removed the power stone, and with his terrifying power, he punched Captain Marvel away. Then in the eyes of countless people in shock and despair, Thanos puts on the gloves. What? Thanos actually put on the gloves again. Why didn't Captain Marvel stop him? Why are we going to lose this battle again? The background music becomes extremely sad at this point. As the saying goes, the greater the expectations, the greater the disappointment. The hearts of countless people seem to be grabbed by a hand, filled with unwillingness, despair, sadness, and all kinds of negative emotions. They never expected it. From the beginning to the end. Countless times they expected victory in the final battle. But Thanos still took away the gloves, and just when countless people fell into despair, Doctor Strange's figure flashed across the screen. I saw his eyes were firm. The right hand controls the sea water and his left hand slowly stretched out and raised a finger. Boom. See this scene. Countless people felt as if they had been hit hard in their hearts. They all recalled what was mentioned in the Doctor Strange video. He saw 14 million endings and there is only one winning outcome. Now he held up a finger. What does it mean? It's not just the one that represents victory, it's this time. Could it be that there is also a reversal? They can really win? Question mark? Chapter 112. Their sense of anticipation was filled at this time. They are extremely looking forward to what happens and can reverse all this. I am destiny. In video. When Thanos slowly raised his right hand and said these words, the picture is frozen in this scene. And the ending song also sounded. Caught countless people off guard. They all scolded their father and mother at ****. You are a dog author. You are going to make me mad. Let me see what is going on. Holy crap. No more. You're so damn good at meowing to appetize people. Did Thanos snap his fingers? This time, was he the one who won? Author, please update quickly. Oh my god, I haven't seen enough yet. You gave me 583 again. Author, can you have some conscience? In the universe. Countless people complained crazily. They were already excited when they saw Doctor Strange's finger in the end. You fucking told me you were done with it again. Who can bear this? Squirt like crazy, squirt hard, but that's it. Someone noticed something was wrong. That means the author didn't say that disappointing closing sentence at this time. What happened? Just when someone wants to send a barrage and ask aloud. The scene was originally fixed at the moment when Thanos was about to snap his fingers, but it's like playing it upside down. It's like returning to the Battle of Wakanda. The moment Thanos snapped his fingers, the whole editing process is so smooth that it makes your scalp numb. Go straight to Shinlinge. Snapped. Snap your fingers and type it out. The picture turned, showing a dim scene. At first glance, it looks particularly clean and clear. The water and the sky are the same color. It feels like your heart and soul can calm down. But at this moment. Countless people saw it. Thanos stepped forward. Under a tall door frame. Like a ferry for souls ferrying people. A short little girl with green skin stood there. Seems to be waiting for Thanos. And just then. Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice sounded. The background music also sounded ethereal and clear. It's as if the souls of countless people have been washed away. The extra chapter will be broadcast next. Family, Soulstone. Wow. When Lin Lan's voice fell. Countless people seemed to be unable to believe their ears. What? Extra chapter? There is such a thing. Holy shit. The author has changed. The author has changed. Hiss. There's actually an extra update. Great. It's actually the soul gem. This thing should be the most mysterious existence among the 6 gems. Why is the title family? Very interesting. Looking forward to it. Countless people were scolding just now. But when I heard there was an extra chapter, the face was overjoyed. This is even more satisfying than triggering a hidden video after selecting a reward, although they really want to know what the final outcome will be. But they are also interested in how to go back in time and get the gems. The expectations of countless people were filled. They want to see what kind of existence the soul gem is. After all, it is too mysterious. Thanks to readers Mao 291, 15,859, 13,032, Bill Wong 967 and 15,170 for their monthly votes. 77. Natasha's death. Choose 2 out of 3 rewards, Captain. Marvel has never defeated Thanos. How is that possible? At this time, Nick Fury's pupils dilated dramatically. His face was full of shock. He couldn't believe it. Captain Marvel, who he thought was invincible, actually never defeated Thanos. You know, I once witnessed the power of this guy with my own eyes, but now he actually let Thanos get a glove inlaid with 6 gems. Loss, despair. There is an indescribable feeling of oppression in my heart, but that's it. Little Spider reminded, have you forgotten that? Mr. Strange raised a finger. I'm sure that means that this time is the only victory among the 14 million endings. Boom. As Spidey's words echoed throughout the room. Everyone was in a state of enlightenment. I totally agree with this statement. Just when they were looking forward to what would happen to cause the accident, Thanos' snap of his fingers seemed to be played backwards to the moment when Wakanda snapped his fingers, and then an extra chapter appeared. Extra chapter. It's actually the Soul Gem. Banner. Exclaimed. Ever since I learned about my relationship with Hulk, he became more and more curious about things like the soul, and also more and more in awe. So I really want to know what kind of existence the Soul Gem is. It's not just him. Others are also full of expectations. After all, they knew they could go back in time and collect the gems. But now only 4 gems have been found. The collection information of Power Stone and Soul Stone has not been revealed yet. Now that the information about the Soul Gem is being broadcast, how can they not look forward to it? So I stared at the screen, waiting for the extra chapter to play. Shanda prison. At this moment, the Guardians of the Galaxy and others were also staring at the screen. Star-Lord was furiously exchanging insults with others. Gamora, on the other hand, was staring closely at the screen. Because after Thanos snapped his fingers just now, wasn't the little green girl who appeared when she was a child? She vaguely remembered. Once upon a time, the Thanos Legion invaded her planet. Destruction. And her mother also died in front of her. However, Thanos stood in front of her, preventing her from seeing her people being brutally murdered. He also gave her a dagger, teased her, and adopted her. Until now. He appeared on the screen. Gamora's sense of expectation was filled at this moment. Could it be that the Soul Gem has something to do with herself? Chapter 113. The expectations of countless people in the universe are filled at this moment. Information about the Soul Stone. It can be said that there are very few. Almost no one knows, so they really want to know what kind of story is the extra chapter. Video continues. Soothing and sad music plays. In the screen. Appears a light purple color. Purple clouds, like sunset, spread softly on the ground. Silky and smooth at the same time. I saw a blue dimensional wall appear. A figure of one strong and one thin caught everyone's eyes. The camera zooms in. What people can see is Thanos and his daughter, Gamora. As soon as the scene changed, the two of them had arrived at the snow-capped mountains in the distance. The red-orange color in the sky is like the arc of the sun, reflected here, like the moment when dusk is about to turn into night. However, just as Thanos and Gamora were about to cross a path, a figure wearing a black cloak appeared in front of them. At this time, the background music also became weird. The nerves of countless people were tense, and their sense of anticipation was heightened at this moment. They had no idea that there were still people who could survive on this strange planet. Welcome, Thanos, son of Ares. Gamora, daughter of Thanos. You know us. Obviously. Thanos was curious that this man knew him, and Gamora. After all, he has never been to this planet. And it looks like on this planet, there is no communication with the outside world at all. It's my curse to know everyone who comes here. The ghost-like figure said so point. But Thanos doesn't care point. He asked directly, where is the soul stone? You should know that it takes a terrible toll. I'm ready. Thanos takes a step forward and is bound to get the soul stone point, and the hearts of countless people were also in suspense point to obtain the soul gem. You actually have to pay a terrible price. What is this price? We all thought so at first, but we found out we were wrong. When that figure said these words, the camera zoomed in, revealing the figure's face point. The entire universe was immediately shocked. Holy crap. Why is it him? Wasn't he teleported away by the cosmic cube? Good guy. Let me tell you why this can be used as a side story. It turns out to be Captain America's nemesis, Red Skull. He's not dead. I'll go. It turns out he's here. But it seems like he's not doing well. Then I'll be relieved. No one watching the video expected that point. It turns out that the enemy who was previously hostile to Captain America and caused his brother to almost die was brainwashed again. The Red Skull. But it looks like point he should be trapped here point. This made countless people shout that they felt comfortable point. However, their expectations were even higher at this moment point, because they see it point. Red Skull took Thanos and Gamora to a cliff and said, what you want is ahead, and so are your fears. What's this cost? When the Red Skull tells the price point, countless people felt chills running down their spines and numbness in their scalps. Follow the camera point. This cliff is at least 1,000 meters deep point. If you fall, you will definitely die. Wait a minute. Shouldn't the price be that you can get it by jumping down? Hiss. It's really possible. When you say that, maybe after you jump and die, the soul gem can bring you back to life. Holy crap. The price is too high. First experience death and then be reborn. Countless people are wildly guessing what the price will be point. Many people think too wonderfully point, but the next words of the Red Skull point let them shut their mouths one after another. The Soul Stone occupies a special position among the Infinity Stones. It can be said that it has some kind of wisdom. Tell me what it takes to ensure that whoever possesses it understands its power. This gem requires sacrifice. What? Sacrifice? To take it away, you have to lose what you love. Trade your soul for a soul. When the Red Skull finished speaking point, countless people watching the video gasped. They never expected it point. It turns out that the price is even more terrifying than they imagined. What it requires is to use the person you love as a sacrifice to obtain it. No, isn't this just killing the person you love with your own hands? And this is 10,000 times more difficult than Wanda. Yeah, I don't understand why the price is like this. But don't forget, Thanos is so cruel. How could he have a loved one? Yes. Then he can't get the soul gem. But he cried. It seems different from what we thought. The background music becomes extremely sad at this moment point. Just when countless people thought Thanos had no one he loved at all point, I saw Thanos dragging Gamora under the shocked eyes of countless people, and then threw Gamora down with tears in his eyes. Silence. Speechless. People watching the video saw this. They all froze in place. They didn't expect it point. Thanos really loves Gamora. They didn't expect it point. Thanos is really so heartless. Now they finally know where Thanos' soul gem came from, in exchange for his daughter's life. This is so cruel. Whoops. Countless snowflakes are blowing in the wind point. The video was slowed down by a dozen times. Gamora fell from the sky in despair, sadness, and disbelief point. The hearts of countless people are also filled with sadness. But at this moment point, the background music suddenly became intense and high-pitched. That extremely smooth transition appears again. I saw Gamora's figure changed into two people point. They hugged each other and then shot out a rope that tightly hooked to the edge of the cliff. This scene shocked countless people. Have no idea what happened, but when they saw clearly who these two people were, their hearts seemed to be filled with something, making them panic. This is Hawkeye and the female agent. Aren't they also from the same team? Hiss. I know this. They went back in time to get the soul gem, but why did they both fall down together? You're stupid. You can't even see this. Because they don't want each other to die. Wow. When people understand what's going on. Chapter 114. Countless people's hearts are filled with cold, pain, and sadness as if they were filled with wind and snow, completely different from Thanos. Gamora. Both wanted to die themselves. For what? It's not just to get the gems and bring those dead people back. You shouldn't have come down. Hold on, let me go. No, no, Eagle. I burst into tears and his voice trembled. With sad, miserable music. Countless people also trembled in their hearts. He even blamed why the soul gem had to pay this price. And when Natasha comforted him softly. The familiar translucent screen appeared again. Like a revolving door before death. Natasha's life flashed. Natasha has received cruel training. Since she was a child, her body was modified, and she was trained to be an agent. She once thought she had nothing, until she met them, and she had a family. She is sexy and brave. Even if the conspiracy and betrayal are still going on, even if the world is about to enter a countdown to destruction, you can always look forward to the Black Widow to save it all. When Lin Lan's voice sounded. The screen flashed through scenes of fighting side by side with members of the Avengers. There was sadness, pain, but also happiness. She was always so sexy. Always so brave. Always treat the Avengers as home. Treat them as family. This also made countless people understand why Hawkeye and Natasha were able to sacrifice their lives for each other. Obviously they are not lovers. So why are they so sure that they will get the soul gem? Because they are family. They are family members who love each other deeply. I would rather sacrifice my family. No matter what the cost. The background music is even sadder and desolate. The sharp and piercing sound was like a silver needle piercing the tear ducts of countless people. It also made every pore of them open, making them extremely nervous. However, when in the picture flashed past Natasha's words, the translucent revolving door disappears. Natasha and Hawkeye were seen looking at each other with tears in their eyes. Then he kicked the wall resolutely, broke away from Hawkeye's hand, and then fell straight into the abyss. Sadness, despair, heartache, frustration. A mixture of emotions. Countless people saw this scene and could no longer control their emotions. She once had nothing, but she finally found her family, and in the end, he saves the world in the name of his family, no matter what the cost. Even her own life. She will not hesitate. This is Black Widow. Boom. The moment Black Widow Natasha falls to the ground, the hearts of countless people also trembled suddenly. They now finally know why there was no Natasha as a heroine in the final battle. Because she sacrificed herself in exchange for the soul gem, and on that gemstone lies her entire life and all her hopes. Why? Why did Natasha die? Internal questions group. Woo one wine closer. Shan. I don't understand why the knife needs to be issued again. Why do they have to die one by one? Because of what Natasha said. No matter what the cost, they will save the entire universe. Yes, no matter what the cost. They all have to reverse course and save half of the life that has been wiped out in the entire universe. Who are at this time. The moment Natasha hits the ground, the scene changes to Hawkeye lying on the lake. The surrounding area is different from the previous lilac. It has turned red. It symbolizes that the sacrifice has been completed. And when Hawkeye opened his eyes and looked around for Natasha, he slowly opened his right hand. When an orange gem caught everyone's eyes, Hawkeye's tears also flowed down uncontrollably. The background music is also at this moment sad and silent, making countless people mourn the Black Widow Natasha in their hearts, even if she didn't make the list. But after watching this scene, there is no doubt that she has become a hero in the hearts of many people. Captain America officially over. While countless people were observing silence. Lin Lan's voice sounded. The ending song perfectly fits this scene at this moment. Lee Kyan Heyo. Although Natasha's life is over, but their battle is not over yet. Even if the ending song stops, just like her will, it will play again. Natasha, don't worry, they will definitely win. No matter what the cost. That's right. They will definitely win. Can't you update more? Dog author. It makes me so angry. I want to kill Thanos. Yeah. Did he snap his fingers or not? Countless people are looking forward to it. On the final battlefield, did Thanos snap his fingers? Although they firmly believed that that battle was the only victory among the 14 million endings, but didn't see what happened before. Their hearts were as anxious as if they were crawling with countless ants. But at this moment, the voice of the dimensional platform sounded. Captain America, Please accept your award and choose two of the three options below. 4. This. You need to reward the author with something. The words just fell. Countless people in the universe have also shifted their attention to the dimensional platform again. Although they have many questions, but every time when it comes to this kind of reward section, I can't help but look forward to what kind of reward it will be. Option 1. S cells. Can greatly improve combat effectiveness. Very tenacious vitality. Combat effectiveness will be greatly improved after each near-death resurrection. Tip. After obtaining it, it will become a hybrid Saiyan, which can evolve faster to become a Super Saiyan. When you grow to a certain stage, the sky will collapse, and the earth will fall apart, and you will wave your hand to explode into stars. Option 2. Holy Shield. It has extremely strong defensive capabilities, and can also unlock related abilities, such as the Shield of Wrath. It is a shield with active attack methods. It not only has a body protecting magic flame, but also activates the dark demon when attacked. Flame fights back. Fang. Option 3. Choose one of the remaining rewards from the previous hero's hiss. When countless people see the reward point, they all took a breath of cold air, looking forward to what Captain America will choose. Thanks to Reader Dad 18,079 for the 200 reward and 13,368 for the monthly ticket. 78. Let me ask you, how to fight Thanos. Natasha is actually dead. At this time, Wakanda. The faces of the Avengers members were full of despair and shock. They never imagined that Natasha would die for the Soul Gem, and that sentence. She had nothing until she met the Avengers, made them her home, and made them her family. It made them feel so sad that they were so choked that they could not speak. And Banner on the side. He was also shaking all over. He still remembered his videos, his intimate actions and intimate words with Natasha. Even if she was able to transform back from Hulk, it was because of her. Now you tell me. She died for her family, for the world, and for the Soul Gem. It was like a knife cutting into his heart. Extremely painful. No, Banner roared. Green lines appeared on the body. Obviously not only him, Hulk is also extremely angry. As for Captain America on the side. Chapter 115. He held the shield in his hand tightly. He vowed in his heart to protect all team members. At this time, the voice of the dimensional platform sounded. Captain America Steve looked up. Suddenly, every move he made was displayed on the dimensional platform. And at the same time, 3 bonus options appear. People across the universe gasped after seeing the option. It caused an uproar because these two rewards are equally incredible. Let's talk about reward 1. First. S cells. Although this kind of thing has never been heard of in the universe. But when they saw the reward description, they were shocked. Not only can it improve combat effectiveness, but it can also impart tenacious vitality. Each time you are resurrected from near death, your combat effectiveness will be greatly improved. Hiss. When you see this prompt. They couldn't help but think of Captain America, who would stand up without hesitation every time he was knocked down. Even if he was about to die, he would still say, I can spend the whole day with you. And wouldn't this reward perfectly match him? It can not only improve his combat ability, but also enable him to become a better captain and charge forward bravely. And you don't have to worry about being knocked down at all, because his combat effectiveness can be greatly improved every time he is on the verge of death. He can still stand firm and say, I can spend the whole day with you. However, when they saw the prompts behind, his pupils expanded sharply, and they all took a deep breath. They felt their backs were cold and their scalps were numb. When you grow to a certain stage, you can actually make landslides and earth split, and stars explode with your wave of hands. Holy shit. Do you want to be so strong? Hiss. I thought this S cell was a very ordinary increase, but you told me that when it grows to a certain stage, it can crack mountains and crack the earth, and explode stars with a wave of its hand? What the hell is this called improving combat effectiveness? What the hell should it be called? Cheating. Holy shit. So strong? Doesn't it mean that with this thing, Captain America can destroy Thanos' space warship just like Captain Marvel? It's not just a space warship. Haven't you seen the stars explode with a wave of your hand? What a concept. Just with a wave of your hand, a planet will explode. Boom, boom, boom. Countless people saw this tip. My heart beats non-stop. It seems like a huge wave has been set off, and it can't calm down for a long time. They thought that the Thunder God's Thunder Fruit was enough to defy the heavens, but I didn't expect Captain America to have an even more incredible reward. Wave your hands to explode the stars. Such terrifying fighting power is really unimaginable. The barrages on the dimensional platform are also flooding the screen like crazy. It was obvious that they were also just one. Captain Marvel has already made them feel a great sense of oppression. And what kind of existence is Captain America, who is causing landslides and ground cracking and exploding stars with his wave of his hand? They can no longer imagine it. Although they did not possess such powerful power from the beginning, they believed that Captain America would be able to achieve it. And when they continue to look down, they all also exclaimed they didn't expect that the second reward would also be a perfect fit for Captain America. Holy crap. It's a customized reward again, right? The first reward enhances Captain America's strength, and the second reward is actually a shield. This one fits him perfectly. I'm so sad. I thought Thor's customized rewards were awesome enough, but I didn't expect Captain America's to be even more awesome. His spirit is even admired by the gods, and the rewards are better than the gods. I guess I saw Captain America's shield being hacked to pieces by Thanos on the dimensional platform, so I rewarded him with it. Wait, it's not just that. This shield can actually attack. What? When? Countless people thought that the dimensional platform was because Captain America's shield was chopped to pieces by Thanos, so he was rewarded with an indestructible holy shield point. But when a barrage said that the holy shield could still attack, it attracted the attention of countless people. Suddenly I saw the prompt behind the holy shield point. While having extremely strong defense capabilities, you can also unlock related abilities, such as the Shield of Wrath, which is a shield with active attack methods. It not only has body protecting magic flames, but also launches dark magic flames to counterattack when attacked. Dark demon flame counterattack. The pupils of countless people dilated rapidly. Obviously, this shield is not just about defense, although the shield in Captain America's hand can also be used to attack. But generally speaking, defense is the main focus. The shield's attack power is of little use in the face of powerful beings, but now this holy shield can unlock related abilities. There is only one example of the Wrath shield though. But they believe that this holy shield has unimaginable attack methods. Compared to vibranium shields, this holy shield is simply perfect. Not only is it extremely powerful in defense, but it also has a variety of attack methods for someone like Captain America who charges into battle. Wouldn't it be a perfect fit? Hi. This shield fits perfectly. If Captain America uses this shield to fight Thanos, Thanos will definitely lose. That's right. No matter how much he chops, he can't be damaged, and he can also release skills that can scare him to death. It seems that the dimensional platform has begun to favor it. These two rewards are the perfect customization for Captain America. Maybe Captain America has other ideas. I think Spider-Man's unlimited lifespan is good. I think Black Panther's shock fruit is pretty good. Countless people began to look forward to it. What would Captain America choose? Should you choose the first two perfect rewards, or will you have your own thoughts? The other side. Just when countless people were holding their breath, anticipating what Captain America would choose. Captain America himself. It was also a big shock. In fact, he didn't believe that he could make the list at all at first. After all, I just woke up from a deep sleep and have not yet fully adapted to the era. But after slowly watching the video, he knew that in the future, his road would be very difficult. Not only is Bucky being controlled, but even Peggy is entering her twilight years. Even with so many disasters, he didn't stop it. So now I ask him if he wants to be on the list. He will definitely answer think. I want the power to change everything. And now, the power to change everything is in front of him. Cells. Holy shield. It can be said to be a perfect fit with him. As for the third option, does he need to see it? Unnecessary. Captain America chose without hesitation and said, I choose option 1 and option 2. When Captain America finished speaking, light also bloomed on the dimensional platform. Then a beam of light hit Captain America directly. It was as if he could feel a warm current flowing throughout his limbs. Then click. Countless people were able to see Captain America's suit ripped apart. Strong missiles are more powerful than before. See this scene. Everyone gasped. It can already be imagined that S-cells have transformed Captain America's whole body. Not only is he stronger, but his strength, needless to say, has also been enhanced countless times. Boom. A dull sonic boom sounded. Captain America suddenly punched forward. Although there is nothing in front of me. But when Captain America's fist swung forward, the strong force seemed to shake the entire space, creating ripples and a circle of airwaves, which was enough to prove how powerful he was. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116. Then there's the Holy Shield. When another beam of light shines, a shield that looks full of texture appears in the hands of Captain America. This shield looks better than mine, Captain America's eyes lit up. Although this holy shield looks very heavy. But when used, it is so silky smooth. And he can feel it. This holy shield is exactly what the reward prompt says, not just for defense and attack power. That's right. And after improvement, he can use skills as long as his mind moves. So he activated the holy shield. There was a buzzing sound all around. Then streaks of flame spiraled up from his feet. Like a protective flame. It wraps around it. Immediately, the shield in his hand also turned red. The temperature was extremely high, and the flames boiled, shocking countless people. Come and try, Captain America said solemnly. And Chala was unceremonious. He put on the Black Panther suit directly, and then struck the shield with his extremely sharp claws. Clang. The clang of metal collision sounded, and at the moment when the Black Panther bombarded, the sharp claws set off countless electric sparks. But what is unexpected is, but it didn't leave a single scratch. But at this moment, a ray of dark magic flame spurted out instantly and bombarded the Black Panther. The violent and raging energy directly blasted it away and hit the wall hard, creating a huge spider web crack. See this scene. Countless people took a breath of cold air. Sure enough, as mentioned in the introduction, it will fight back when attacked. If it weren't for Black Panther's suit being able to absorb energy. Otherwise, if this blow went down, an ordinary person would probably have been burned to ashes. Gudang. When everyone saw these two rewards, they all swallowed hard. Are they afraid of Thanos now? Afraid of a hammer? A Captain America? A Captain Marvel? Death comes when Thanos comes. That's right. After they finish looking at the rewards, I feel confident. Even Thanos' space warship was immediately destroyed by Captain Marvel's attack. So when Thanos meets Captain America, who later grows into a Super Saiyan, wouldn't he be crushed to death in minutes? Ever since the moral of the entire universe was boosted. People who were worried that Thanos would destroy the planet were relieved. Just asking you how to fight Thanos. How to fight. Hahaha. Now that we have Captain America and Captain Marvel, does Thanos still dare to collect gems? That's right. He would never dare. I guess he's already hiding in a corner and shivering. Humph. Yes, that must be the case. And I believe that Thanos' second snap of his fingers in the end was definitely not successful. Yes, I dare to believe that the victory that Doctor Strange said in the end must be because of Captain America. That's right. That's right. I think so too. I guess there will be hidden videos later. If you don't tell me. I forgot. There were hidden videos in the previous videos, and there should be hidden videos this time too. Maybe it will show the scene where Captain America stops Thanos. Hey, I'm so looking forward to it. Countless people exclaimed. And he believes that in the final battle, it must be Captain America who stops Thanos. Looking forward to seeing Captain America stop Thanos. Curiosity was full at this moment. Really, the voice of the dimensional platform sounded. Ding. Congratulations to Captain America for his choice to trigger the hidden video. Cool. Countless people exclaimed. They knew there would be hidden videos, so they all held their breath and stared at the screen, anticipating what video would appear. Then I heard it. Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice. He has been fighting for others all his life. Even if he falls down every time, he will stand up resolutely. Even if he dies for the world once, he still stands up, but this time, he finally made a choice for himself. For yourself. The expectations of countless people were filled at this time point. Yes, Captain America always fights for others, they know this very well point, but unexpectedly, Captain America finally thought about himself. They are curious and looking forward to what choice Captain America made. They stared at the screen, not daring to breathe, and the video finally started. Thanks to Reader Dad 15,342 for his monthly ticket. 79. As Captain America grows old, the belated dance is finally complete. This time, did he finally think of himself? Great, yeah. Captain America has been fighting for others all his life. If it was really for himself once, that would be great. Tell me, what decision did Captain America make for himself? Did he overthrow S.H.I.E.L.D. and choose his own leadership, or did he quit the Avengers in order to have more freedom? I don't know which one it is, but no matter which one it is, I will support him without hesitation. After all, this old man has really gone through too much. I hope he can enjoy his own life. Yes, I also hope he can enjoy his life. Countless people discussed it. I feel relieved and happy that Captain America finally made a choice for himself. After watching the video about him. People all understand the setbacks and tribulations experienced by the old man Captain America. So no matter what choice he makes, he will get their support. At this time. Soothing and soft dance music played in the background. Let the countless people who are watching the video become immersed in their hearts as followers. The video finally starts. I saw only one dance hall. Countless people gathered here. And Steve also stood there, looking around. Apparently, he was waiting for someone. Waiting for someone he has been waiting for all his life. Countless people saw this scene. They all became sad. Because they knew that Steve would not be able to wait for that person. But I didn't expect it. Just at this time. The familiar figure appeared, came to Steve's side, and asked softly, "Are you ready to dance with me?" Boom. Countless people saw this scene. Their pupils expanded rapidly, and their faces were full of shock and disbelief. I can't believe it at all. Captain America actually waited for Peggy? Wrong, didn't he sleep for 70 years? How can we dance together? No, why do I remember that Captain America didn't dance with Peggy? When he fell into the glacier, he still agreed on that dance. Why did Peggy show up at this time? Chapter 117. It's horrifying to think about it. Logically speaking, Captain America did not dance with Peggy, so what exactly happened? No matter what happened to him, there will be no regrets if the two of them dance together. While countless people were questioning. It was a time to celebrate that the two of them finally got their wish and danced together. The background music suddenly becomes louder. It's like waking up from a dream. When Captain America was about to speak. The scene changes. I saw Wanda using magic to control his head. Wow. See this scene. The whole universe was in an uproar. They couldn't imagine it. It turns out that Wanda did all this. Holy crap. I'm just telling you. It turned out to be Wanda who did it. I still remember that Wanda can bring out the regrets or the most fearful things in people's hearts, which is enough to show how regretful Captain America must be for that dance. Yeah. So what is the choice Captain America made? Countless people sighed. I feel even more regretful about that dance. I can't help but wonder, what choice did Captain America make for himself? They don't know. They just hope that the following video can explain it. The scene changes. The background music became extremely sad. A cell phone text message appears in the video. A passage is shown above. It immediately made countless people feel sad, regretful and unwilling. She passed away in her sleep. See this sentence. Countless people who were looking forward to and praying that Captain America could complete that dance with Peggy broke through their defenses one after another, feeling that their hearts were filled with negative emotions. Although they could have anticipated this day. But when they see it with their own eyes, I still feel lost and regretful. Hey, it seems that dreams are just dreams after all. I really can't see Captain America and Peggy dancing. The author is a liar. He also said that he made a choice for himself, but he couldn't save Peggy. Yeah, it's so pathetic. Captain America can't do anything at all. Okay, if There is a chance, I really hope, that Peggy can get the rewards of the rankings now and give her an unlimited lifespan. Everything will be easy. You are all talking about ifs, but there are no ifs in this world. Sad point, pity point. It fills the hearts of countless people who watch the video. Then I saw the video. Captain America carried the coffin and walked forward, bearing his sorrow and pain. And just then the background music suddenly seems to hit a low point and then reach a high point. The ups and downs are huge. It made countless people's nerves tense. Don't know what will happen though. But whenever this feeling of ups and downs comes, their sense of expectation suddenly increases because they know that something unexpected will definitely happen. Only seen in the video. The translucent screen appears again. When Captain America carries the coffin forward, scenes of Captain America visiting Peggy are interspersed. Peggy's voice was trembling and her eyes were red as she said, "Steve, you're still alive. You're back." "Yeah, Peggy, long time no see." "Long time." When Peggy said these words tremblingly, the hearts of countless people also trembled. Although I have seen this scene before. But they didn't listen to the subsequent conversation, and Steve's answer pushed the sadness in countless people's hearts to its peak. How could I leave my beloved girl? She still owes me a dance. When Steve finished. The translucent screen disappears. However, the hearts of countless people are as if they are immersed in the bottom of the sea, depressed, sad, and difficult to breathe. Steve always remembered that dance, though. Peggy always remembered that dance though. But the two of them are always separated by yin and yang, and this dance will always be just a regret. However, at this moment, the background music gradually but not become sad. Instead, he said that the ups and downs continued. It made countless people curious. I haven't seen Captain America's choice until now. Is it still behind? Only in the church. Captain America stood there alone. Quietly looking at the portrait placed above. Peggy inside is still as beautiful as seen in the previous video. But what countless people didn't expect was the originally black and white portrait suddenly turned into a colorful living person. The scene has also changed from a church to an office. This silky transition also made countless people take a breath, and their anticipation was filled at this moment. What happened? Only seen in the video. Peggy is working on documents in the office. And outside the window, it was Steve. But it's different from the previous video. Looking at Steve's appearance at this time, it is obvious that he is not the Steve from the same era as Peggy. Boom. The hearts of countless people are beating loudly. It seems like a huge wave has been set off, and it can't calm down for a long time. They seem to remember that after the cosmic cube was taken away by Loki, the Avengers must find a way to get the cosmic cube again. It was also revealed in the previous video that the cosmic cube was indeed here during Peggy's time. Hiss. Alternate questions group Beiju Sanjiu CCLIU. Countless people took a breath of cold air. They got it. At this time Steve came here to collect gems, but in his heart, he still missed Peggy. Doesn't it mean that Steve can finally dance that dance with Peggy? I'm so excited. Hiss. Just don't forget, now that time is running out, there's no way he can stay. Yes, did you forget that he appeared on the battlefield during the later battle? Countless people expected Steve to talk to Peggy and ask her to dance. But sadly Steve left anyway. But at this moment the background music suddenly becomes high and passionate. It made countless people's hearts hang in awe. Nerves are also tense at this moment. Only seen in the screen. The Hulk stood next to Captain America. Then he said to him, "Remember, you have to put the gem back to the moment you took it away. Otherwise you'll create a bunch of nasty parallel universes. Don't worry, Bruce." Captain America picked up the box. Immediately came to a platform. See this scene. Countless people's pupils expanded rapidly. Chapter 118. When they saw that these people were still alive and the gems were there. They all exclaimed, "They really won that decisive battle. Holy crap. They won. They won. The probability is 1 in 14 million. It really is that battle." Hiss. Great. Now they have to send the gems back. But Captain America, what is the choice he made? I don't know. Maybe we can see what Captain America did when he went back to the past later. Countless people held their breath and concentrated. The sense of anticipation is full at this moment. They want to see Captain America go back in time and what choices he made. But the picture doesn't seem to have any intention of transitioning. I saw Sam ask how long it takes, however long it takes him. It only takes 5 seconds with us. When the Hulk finished speaking, Captain America disappeared onto the platform. Zero asked for flowers, then continue. There was a nervous sound in the background music, which plucked the heartstrings of countless people, making them itchy and frightened, not knowing what would happen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, snapped. That's when the Hulk pushed the button. The camera pans to the platform. Captain America was supposed to appear, but he didn't appear in people's sight. Wow. The whole universe is in an uproar. Everyone was moved to tears. Although the Hulk in the video has no idea what's going on. But they have already guessed what choice Captain America made. That's naturally to make up for your regrets. I have been waiting for that dance for a long time. I knew it. Captain America would definitely go to Peggy for that dance. I knew it. Oh. Captain America finally made his choice in the end. I'm really happy for him, yeah, but why doesn't the dog author show us that scene? That's right. Hey, wait, look, just when someone complained that they didn't see the scene where the two danced together, the camera still stays in the present, but it turned the other way. All I saw was the lake. A figure sat there. His hair is grey, and on his right side there is a shield beside him. With soft, soothing music playing. Countless people seem to have guessed something. That figure should be Captain America. Steve. I saw Sam walking forward. Smiling, and asked him, did something go wrong, or did everything go as expected? After I put the gem back, I thought, how about I try the kind of life Tony told me to live? How is the result? It's wonderful. That's good. I'm happy for you. Sincerely, Sam. Smiled happily. And countless people also smiled from the bottom of their hearts, but the tears fell not quite as expected. Because they guessed correctly. Captain America finally made a choice for himself. At this time, the background music becomes passionate. At this time, I saw Steve put the Captain America shield in Sam's hand, then patted it and said, it's yours. See this scene. People know Steve has passed on his mantle to Sam. But that's not where people's attention lies, but on his ring finger, because there is a ring. Boom. This scene is like a sweet critical blow that hits the hearts of countless people. They raised their arms and shouted, their hearts beating loudly. The ring worn on the ring finger means that he is married. I feel comfortable. Consummation. They actually got married. It's so cool. Steve finally made the right choice for himself. Bless them and bless them. Blessings, blessings, blessings. But I still want to see them dancing together. I think so too. Countless people are looking forward to seeing Steve and Peggy dancing. Sam in the video also asked their thoughts and said to Steve, do you want to tell me about her? No, let's forget it. Steve's clean rejection made countless people fall to the bottom and sigh. Good guy. Let's eat more sweets. Just when everyone was sighing and complaining, suddenly the familiar soothing, gentle dance music played in the background. The scene changes. A small house caught everyone's eyes. In their expectant eyes, the camera slowly enters the house. Through the door I saw two figures hugging each other, enjoying their moment amid the dance music. Gentle, sweet, complete. The two people's heads were close to each other, showing sweet and happy smiles. Captain America officially over. The ending song plays. A scene freezes on the scene of the two embracing each other. When Lin Lan's voice sounded. Countless people also shed tears. The dance I owed from the beginning was finally fulfilled. After going through so much. Although the story is over, but they are still immersed in the dance between Captain America and Peggy. Endless love, only blessings. Thanks to readers Dads HTXMT and Will1141 for their monthly votes. Factory 80. The second superhero, Iron Man. It's finally consummated. I thought I really couldn't see the two of them dancing together. That's right. Steve's answer just made me feel a little nervous. I thought that was the case. But fortunately, the author finally released it. That's it. This time the author finally put some sugar in it. And this editing technique really makes people feel ups and downs in their hearts. They obviously gave me psychological hints, but I just can't help but get involved in the emotions. Yes, this author's editing skills have become much better. Every time I know it's impossible, but I can't help but guess and think about it. I find that he really has a knack for making people appetizing. Not only does he have a hand, he also has a hand in setting up suspense. At first, we thought that Captain America was an undercover agent, but the good guy turned out to have known that they were Hydra. Then Thanos was about to fight again. When I snapped my fingers, I went straight back to the extra chapter. I still can't calm down. That's right. Now we know they won. But he just won't tell you who stopped this. Is that person the person Doctor Strange replaced with the Time Stone? And it's obvious that Thanos is wearing gloves, so how can he lose? Countless people originally lamented that the regrets in their hearts had been filled and praised the author as a result. The style of painting suddenly changed. Start complaining about the author like crazy. Although the editing techniques and setting up suspense are very good. But at the same time, it makes their hearts feel itchy, as if they were crawling with countless ants, because I saw that the gem was still there at the end. Chapter 119. So they knew they would definitely win the final battle, but now there are many questions. For example, how did Thanos come about, and why did Thanos lose? Even though he put on the gloves, who is stopping all this? Is it the person who was saved with the Time Stone? Their sense of anticipation was filled at this moment. The crazy climb of curiosity reaches its peak, and after the video ends, just when they thought it was still the same subtitle. But he didn't expect to make them dumbfounded. See you there in 2 hours. 2 hours. Holy shit, is the author finally willing to be a human being? The author is finally willing to be a human being. This time he only has to wait for 2 hours. It's so cool. 2 hours. Hiss. I was wrong. I will never scold the author again. Hurry up. Who is the second hero? I can't wait. Countless people are ready to make a move. They think that half a day in advance is the author's limit. Unexpectedly, this time I only had to wait 2 hours to watch the next video. How can we not make them excited? So they all waited impatiently in front of the screen for the next video. The other side. Wakanda. At this moment. Captain America hasn't gotten over his emotions yet. He is human. He is not God. After seeing myself and Peggy finally completing the dance that they had been waiting for a long time. He felt that his heartstrings were severely touched at this moment. Yes, he is always fighting for others. This time, choose to live the life you want. Maybe that's the best ending. Suddenly. He seemed to have thought of something. He said to Nick Fury and others in a hurry, I'll go see her. She, of course, refers to Peggy. He couldn't wait to see her now, because he felt that Peggy must have seen this video. If you don't go now. Maybe the next time we meet, it may be like in the video, carrying her coffin and slowly walking towards the church. Tip your shield when you leave. Now he has enough power to protect his beloved girl. Just no chance to dance again. But after seeing the happy ending between me and Peggy in the video, I no longer have any regrets. So don't let any regrets remain now. And everyone heard it. He also nodded. Because they know what Peggy means to Steve. Steve and Peggy are consummated. But what about Natasha and me? At this time, Banner, who has always been gentle, said sadly. All he could think about now was the scene where Natasha jumped off the cliff. Every time I think of it, I feel like my heart is wrenching. Fortunately, Chala on the side said, don't worry, she has a big family like us. And don't you also have a paper man? That one might be useful. Paper man. Yes, how could I forget this thing? When Banner heard this, he quickly took out the paper man. Then anxiously asked Nick Fury where Natasha was. Unexpectedly, Nick Fury replied rationally, after the future is broadcast now, the future will definitely change. Why don't you keep this thing as a way to save your life? Changes happened. Banner looked down at the paper man in his hand and murmured. Yes, no one knows what will happen in the future. So I still have to calm down. Banner put away the paper man, but at this moment, it was no longer Spider-Man who exclaimed, but Tony reminded him seriously, the next video is about to start. Maybe we will know the answers to many questions. At This time point Tony's expression was serious. It's not because Captain America fought with himself before point, it's because he has an ominous premonition. Do not know why point he always felt that the author of this video could hide the parts about him. He was not present at some critical moments. Logically speaking, he is a member of the Avengers and represents the same faction as Captain America point. There should be a lot of appearances. Shake his head point. Take a deep breath point. Tony stopped thinking about that point. Others also turned their attention to the dimensional platform point when they saw that the next video would be broadcast in only 2 hours. They were filled with anticipation point. They want to know who the second superhero is. Impossible. Impossible. How could he have someone he loves? He is ruthless and ruthless, and I'm just a pawn and tool of his. At this time point Shanda prison point Gamora's emotions were a little out of control point. Countless people in the prison looked at each other. They know point this is unacceptable to anyone. Originally, she was still laughing at Thanos for not having anyone he loved and not getting the soul stone point. But he really does. It's Gamora. Even though I knew the truth, my heart was filled with shock and emotion point. But Thanos told her through his actions 4 gems. You will not hesitate to sacrifice your loved ones. Star-Lord on the side saw this scene point. He also clenched his fist tightly point. It hit the table hard point. Now he knows that Gamora is Thanos' daughter. Don't look at his superficial appearance point, but he is very kind at heart point. Saw this cruel scene point. How could he bear it? Don't be afraid. When I see that guy called Thanos, I will definitely kill him. That's right. Kill him. I'm Groot. Kill him. Rocket Raccoon and Tree Man are standing on the table point. The entire Shanda prison was immediately boiling point. They all denounced Thanos. Hear their voices. Gamora's heart was no longer so sad point. Fortunately she is out now point. Otherwise, she believed that if she had not come out to do the mission, she would be dragged to that planet by her father. Now, the thought of this Gamora shivered suddenly point. Immediately he took a deep breath and calmed down his mood. Chapter 120. And Star-Lord, like an affectionate man, said to Gamora, don't worry, whether you believe it or not, I will definitely be on the list this time. Gamora said nothing point, but in her heart, she was already impressed by Star-Lord, so he joked with a smile, the probability of you being on the list is the same as that of me becoming your girlfriend. Just when Star-Lord comforted Gamora point in prison point a voice resounded, watch. New video will be released in 2 hours. Wow, the words just fell point. The entire prison became more riotous. They all clicked on the dimensional platform point looking forward to new videos. And Star-Lord is also frivolous and looks forward to being on the list. Kamataj point Temple, Master, Ancient One, who do you think the person I saved with the time stone is? At this time point Doctor Strange's voice sounded point. I saw him and Guyi sitting together, drinking tea point. After these days of study point he has quickly finished studying all the books in Kamataj's collection point, even though he's sitting here point, but his soul is still learning. You're referring to the victorious one among the 14 million endings, right? Perhaps he might surprise everyone. Oh, it's surprising to everyone. It's interesting. Doctor Strange took a sip of tea point. It seems that Master Guyi has seen some clues. He was curious who can surprise everyone. Could it be that he is really the Star-Lord who screams on the barrage every day? Oh, no way point. But at this moment point Doctor Strange noticed the last sentence of the video point was surprised by this. I didn't expect that the author would become so hardworking after not watching the video for a few days. Very nice point. So I was drinking tea with Master Guyi while looking forward to the video point. Who is it that makes people unexpected? The other side point. Even after receiving the reward point. But Lin Lan didn't care point because all his attention is on editing the video point. In this video, he can guarantee to do better than before. Now not only has the ability to edit videos improved, making people more appetizing, no, but the skills to set up suspense have also improved. So the release time of the video has been advanced point. Let the entire Marvel world be more sensational. Okay, done. Lin Lan's eyes lit up. Directly upload the video to the Dimension platform and publish it regularly. Time passes by 1 minute and 1 second 0. In the universe. Countless people stood guard in front of the dimensional platform. In the past, they were so involved that they were on guard 10 hours in advance. Do you still care about these 2 hours now? Joke. Even some of the guys who were doing cardio pulled out. Everyone is looking forward to who the superhero will be this time. Who do you think the superhero is this time? Finally the second one. Hiss. I don't know, but I'm sure that this superhero also made a huge sacrifice. Yes. I feel that strength is definitely not the only criterion for judging. I'm really looking forward to it. Star-Lord. It must be me this time. I'm really not kidding. I've already predicted the ending. Why don't you give up? Didn't your face get swollen in the Thor video last time? That's right, Star-Lord. Who gave you the courage? It's coming. It's coming. The video is coming. Leave him alone. Just when everyone was complaining about Star-Lord. Time came to 2 hours later in the blink of an eye. Then countless people in the universe clicked the screen frantically. I'm afraid I'm a second too late. They are all looking forward to who the second superhero is. The video begins. Woohoo. Like the sound of a whale. And the screen. A silent and boundless universe appeared. The background music also sounded spacious and soothing. Let the hearts of countless people calm down. At this time. There are countless huge space warships like whales appearing in the picture. Each one is floating in the universe, and the visual impact caused can only be described as shocking. Boom. Just when the hearts of countless people finally calmed down. Sudden, an earth-shattering explosion sounded. It made countless people's hearts tremble. Then I saw a scene similar to that of Thor. Countless space warships exploded into pieces, and the flames surged and spread like a tsunami, sweeping over the sky and covering the earth, as if to break through the video, creating an even more shocking effect. Then the screen zooms like a circle. Slowly gathered into a point and disappeared. See this scene. They already recognized it. That is the space fleet that invades the Earth. But why it exploded, they didn't know. Then right now. Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice sounded. Next, let's take a look at the second place among the top 10 superheroes. He was arrogant, stubborn and an irregular person by nature, but a sudden change made him understand what responsibility and responsibility are. Overpass, faced with the doubts that others do not know how to sacrifice themselves, he turns around and commits himself to death. He always plans ahead and considers the worst outcome of everything. Even if he is disliked by countless people, he knows what he is doing. While he is emotional, he is also constantly making sacrifices. Potential dangers or huge disasters make him anxious and frightened. He always feels that he should be able to do more. From a cynical guy, he grew up to be a superhero. He was always thinking about others. He could obviously spend his life selfishly, but he resolutely chose 1.3 to throw himself at the most powerful enemy in the world. A heavy punch. With his mortal strength, he rivals the gods. Boom. When Lin Lan finished speaking. Countless people trembled all over as if they had been struck by lightning. Their pupils dilated rapidly. After they read these words, they could already see a person who, even though his character was flawed, and even though he did not look like a self-sacrificial person, was sacrificing himself day and night for the sake of the world. I have the courage to challenge the most powerful enemy. This huge contrast has made countless people marvel before they even saw his deeds, and when the author's last words were spoken. They were even more trembling. With the power of mortal, he can rival the gods. This time the superhero is immortal, but he is as good as a god. Who is it? In an instant. The expectations of countless people were once again filled. They are crazy to know who the superhero is this time. Chapter 121. It's actually worthy of this description. It's even more shocking than Captain America's comment. Then listen to what the author said. Next, let's take a look at the top 10 superheroes. Iron Man. Tony Stark. Reason for being on the list. His character flaws have caused him to be questioned, but it has also made him understand the meaning of responsibility and responsibility. He has stepped forward without hesitation despite countless foreign enemy invasions, anxiety and fear of danger. His uneasiness made him plan ahead and always consider others. Even if he could spend his life selfishly, he resolutely decided to stand up and resist. He is made of flesh and blood and has a heart of steel. But he is also comparable to the gods with the power of mortal. Wow. When Lin Lan's words came out, the entire universe cannot sit still. Thanks to Reader Dad 18,244 for his monthly ticket. 81. Don't know how to sacrifice? No. He sent the asterisk into the wormhole. Boom boom boom. When countless people across the universe hear who the second superhero is, they all froze in place. His face was full of shock and disbelief. I can't believe it at all. The second superhero is Iron Man. Holy shit. No kidding. Holy crap. Is the author lying? You told me that Star-Lord is the second superhero, and I believe it. You told me that Iron Man? You are fucking kidding me. That's right. How could it be Iron Man? It's over. It's over. I really don't want to see it anymore. Can he be a hero? You should first see how messy his private life is. He is arrogant and arrogant. How can he be a superhero? Stop arguing now. You will be embarrassed when you get slapped in the face. Maybe it's really what the author said. That's right. Don't talk too much. The current Iron Man may not be popular, but that doesn't mean he won't change in the future. In the universe, countless people made crazy voices of doubt. Even superheroes have their doubts, but never before have so many people questioned it. Because of the dimensional platform, they have long known what kind of existence Iron Man is. How can one describe his character as flawed? That's why they question so angrily. Kamataj. Standby group 893,964,460 at this moment. The teacup in Doctor Strange's hand fell down. Just now Master Gu Yi said that this guy is an unexpected person. But I didn't expect that this person was not only unexpected, but also had nothing to do with superheroes at all. Why is it him, Master Gu Yi? How could it be him? I have already said that he is an unexpected guy. Although the future is chaotic, I have seen something. But of course, I'm not sure. I only had a slight guess before. But now the author's words make me, I believe even more that Tony Stark will grow into a superhero you never imagined. Gu Yi was calm and detached, and the corners of his mouth only raised a slight arc. Then he took a sip of tea. Obviously she was just guessing before. Now seeing this result, she was also deeply pleased in her heart. When Doctor Strange heard this, he frowned tightly. Can this guy really do that? 09. The sense of anticipation was ignited at this moment. Very curious. Holy area. Asgard. When the gods knew who the second superhero was, there were bursts of lightning coming out of Thor's body, and shouted, impossible. How could it be him? Even to death, I won't believe that this guy can become a superhero. That's right. Not long ago they were quarreling at Camel Taj. Just this mortal who can only hide in armor. Can you still stand up to the gods? Do not make jokes. Thor and Loki found this statement to be an insult. But Odin's words made them shut up. Don't forget everything you have lost. Maybe he has lost more than you. Even his life. Thor, the god of thunder, calmed down his mood. Here Odin's words, he seemed to have matured for hundreds of years. Yes, I have lost so much. For this unprecedented battle. Maybe Iron Man has lost more than he has. He blamed himself for saying these words just now. Then my eyes are fixed on the screen, looking forward to what will happen in the future. At this moment. Wakanda. The faces of Nick Fury, Peter Parker, T'Challa, Wanda, and Banner also showed expressions of shock and disbelief. You ask them, can they guess that the second superhero is Iron Man? Who the hell can guess this? So they all turned their attention to Tony Stark. He glanced up and down. I still don't see what it takes to become a superhero. Would I really give birth to someone else? It's not just them. Even Tony himself was shocked, although he may have guessed that he would be on the list before. But until it's actually on the list. His heart suddenly trembled as that Avengers assessment report said. He himself knows that he is arrogant and stubborn. Would you really sacrifice your life for others? He does not know. So I look forward to the author giving him an explanation. This is exactly what everyone in the universe who is watching The video wants to know. The video begins in the expectant eyes of countless people. Finally the picture appeared. All I saw was yellow sand filling the sky. Number of vehicles traveling side by side. Then the screen changed. Tony Stark faces the camera, and behind him, there are rolling mountains and empty ground. I saw him drinking champagne and looking high-spirited. Obviously he is selling weapons. Boom. Boom boom. I saw countless missiles falling from the sky and exploding in the open space in the distance. Countless fires shot up into the sky. The blast wave set off a tsunami-like wave of sand and dust, causing a huge noise. See this scene. Countless people were even more confused. No matter how you look at this guy, he doesn't look like a person who can live for others. The result was at this moment, the background music suddenly became tense. Only seen in the video. When the wave of sand swallowed up the entire picture. The scene changes. Countless bullets and bullets flew everywhere. Then Tony Stark was seen leaning against the rock. At this time, chapter 122. A guide sheet flew to his side, the camera zoomed in, and the words Stark Industries were written on it. Novel Group 0320. Boom. When the guide sheet explodes, Tony Stark fell directly to the ground, and then he saw blood oozing from his chest. It made countless people feel nervous. See this scene. Only now did they discover that Iron Man did not have a reactor before. So where did this thing come from? Soon. The silky transition has arrived. Tony Stark is still lying down. But the background changed from the ground to the bed. The surrounding environment is also in dilapidated condition, just like inside a cave. And when the camera zoomed in, people saw that there was a reactor on Tony Stark's chest. Then the background music started to rush again. It made countless people's nerves tense. And Lin Lan's voice also sounded. The once high-spirited billionaires and geniuses have now become like prisoners. His life was almost wiped out because of the weapons he made. The appearance of Dr. Ethan not only saved his life, but also changed his previous concepts. Lin Lan finished speaking. Countless people seemed to understand that Tony Stark began to change from this moment on. Then I saw it. These people asked Tony Stark and Dr. Ethan to create more powerful weapons, but he and Dr. Ethan didn't do it. Instead, they worked together to create a huge armor, and it was discovered by them. The music became fast and urgent at this moment, as if someone had been caught doing something bad in secret. And his heart jumped into his throat. Then we saw Tony wearing a huge armor and being invincible. But what is unexpected is Ethan was trying to stall for time. Z gave birth to herself, and at the end, he told the truth. In fact, his family had died long ago. Everyone can see it now. Tony's face in the armor trembled violently. It's like he knows something he never knew before. What is it? Naturally, it is just for the sake of others that Zishan himself. Then the screen changed. When Tony Stark was rescued. First thing to do. Just stop supplying weapons to the military. And after producing Iron Man, he continued to deal with the Ten Rings gang and crushed his uncles. Conspiracy. See this scene. Countless people who were questioning Tony Stark just now shut their mouths, although his character does. But I have to admit that this video allowed countless people to see the unknown side of Iron Man. Tony Stark. Who would have thought that such a person would secretly eradicate these evil people, even online? It is impossible to disclose this information. I didn't expect that Tony Stark would actually stop supplying weapons to the military for the sake of other people's lives. And he would also personally save people who were kidnapped by evil people. Oh my god, if it weren't for this video, I wouldn't have known it at all. He did these things. Yeah, it's really hard to imagine. Moreover, from this moment on, he should know what responsibility are, right? Yes, Ethan's death also touched him greatly. It made him understand what it means to live for others. The scene changes. The background music becomes extremely intense and high-pitched, making people feel like they have entered the sea of flowers from the stormy desert, giving people a great change. People can't help but look forward to what kind of transformation Iron Man Tony Stark will have. Video continues. The noise echoed throughout the hall. I saw countless reporters sitting below. And Tony Stark stood above. Facing the questions raised by reporters. Tony Stark answered them one by one. And when asked if he was Iron Man, he paused. Logically speaking, He should have to follow the script to explain that he is not point, but will he? Of course not, because from this moment on, he realized his responsibilities and obligations. He can no longer make weapons to protect the country or otherwise point. What he wants to do is use his technology to save the world. In fact, I'm Iron Man. Wow. When Tony said this, the reporters below were making a fuss at this time. The background music also sounded with a strong rhythm and very inspiring music. The expectations of countless people have increased, and they can't wait to see what the author said. This guy can live in the West for others. But Lin Lan's voice sounded again. When his life was threatened, he became decadent and gave up on himself. But as a genius, will he continue to be so decadent? Soon. Point in video. Point there was not the transformation that everyone expected. Point instead, it was like what they saw on the dimensional platform. Decadent, self-defeating, driving a racing car, having parties at his own home, and even fighting with his friends. See here. Point many people sighed. Point sure enough, the higher the expectations, the greater the disappointment. Hey, sure enough, he is still the same as we saw. He has not improved at all, but has become even more degenerate. I need a reasonable explanation. What exactly does he deserve? Countless people raised questions again. Point they thought Tony Stark could get better, but no. On the contrary, it is a complete depravity. But at this moment, point Lin Lan's voice sounded again, sonorous and powerful, as if responding to their questions. No, of course not. After he walked through the gate of hell for a while, he knew the value of life. While he relied more on the armor, he also understood the meaning of the armor on his body. It can provide him with the power to protect people, and it can give him the faith to fight against foreign invasions. However, when people questioned him, what is he without this armor? He replied, playboy, billionaire, genius scientist. But is that all? No, he's still a superhero, although some people say that he has never been the kind of person to live for others. He stopped answering and proved his words with actions. He, Iron Man, is a superhero. Boom. Every word Lin Lan said was like a huge thunder that struck the hearts of countless people. Beating, banging, banging, accompanied by passionate and intense music. The expectations of countless people were filled. Point I want to know crazily, is Iron Man really the kind of person who would give birth to himself for others? Is he really a superhero? Then in the expectant eyes of countless people, point I saw a blue beam of light rising into the sky. Point it was like a huge hole was torn in the sky, and countless space warships invaded the Earth. Point. But at this moment, point the camera turned to a combat command center. Faced with this disaster, the top management made a decision, that is, to use bombs. Boom. Bomb. The nerves of countless people were tense at this moment. When they saw the bombs being fired with their own eyes, the whistling sound that broke through the air seemed to pluck their heartstrings, and they were extremely nervous. You must know that if a bomb explodes, at least tens of millions of people will die. What a price to pay when bombs are about to hit the city. Point at this time, the music also sounded compact, and with a sense of crisis. It made countless people extremely nervous. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123. My heart jumped into my throat. However, when they saw a red figure flying over, the pupils dilated rapidly, and his face was full of shock and suffocation. That's Iron Man. What is he going to do? This is a bomb. What is Iron Man going to do? Could he be here to save the city? Remember what the author said. Even when someone questioned that he was not like a person who could sacrifice for others, he did not answer, but proved it with actions. You mean Iron Man plans to prevent the bomb from exploding? No. He wanted to send the bomb into the wormhole. Remember the explosion at the beginning? But he doesn't have much energy anymore. How can he come back? Maybe he never thought he would come back. Buzz. Countless people's minds are buzzing. Point his face was full of shock and disbelief. Point will Iron Man really send the bomb into the wormhole as they thought? Next, Iron Man's actions confirmed their thoughts. P.S. The chapter has been blocked. Please avoid being blocked. Please forgive me for many typos. Thanks to the readers ad 17,561 for the 1000 reward and reader dad 96,870, 13,684, 17,891, 75,458. 13,970, 18,208, and 13,737. Monthly pass. Dear readers, you can read chapter 81. Tip: there is no charge for subscribing to this chapter. When chapter 81 was posted last night, it was blocked by a robot. I tried to change it for almost an hour without success, and my lungs almost exploded. I edited it this morning to help me unblock it, so there are a lot of typos that are my constant attempts to unblock it. Dear readers, please forgive me CAC. PS. No fee will be charged if the text does not exceed 500 words. This is also explained to everyone. The author will work hard to update it. 82. Is he selfish? He always feels that he has not done enough. Silence. Speechless. People who were watching the video at this time held their breath when they saw Iron Man's move. My heart was pounding and I was extremely nervous, although they are still guessing. What choice will Iron Man make? But Iron Man used his actions to tell them what he was doing. That's right. It is to send the bomb into the wormhole. Stark, you know you can't get your energy back. At this time Iron Man came to the bottom of the bomb and lifted it up, and a worried voice came from the headset. The background music is getting sadder and sadder at this time. Every time the piano sounds, people can't help but think that he will never come back. But does Iron Man care if he can come back? Of course I don't care. I saw him saying resolutely, Jarvis, use the energy to turn. Do you want me to call Miss Potts? Yes. Boom. When Iron Man said these words, everyone who was watching the video was stunned and froze in place. His words made their hearts tremble, as if they had received a critical blow. They couldn't imagine at Iron Man has made up his mind to send the bomb into the wormhole. And without leaving any escape route for himself, he used all his energy to turn and forcibly reverse the flying direction of the missile. He even made one last phone call to his lover. It's like goodbye forever. He actually did it. Oh my god. Is this really Iron Man Tony Stark? That's right. It's him. It's the Iron Man Tony Stark who everyone dislikes and doesn't think he is a superhero. In the face of doubts, he proved with his actions that he can really sacrifice himself for others. See this scene. Countless people seem to have completely changed their views on Iron Man. I prayed in my heart that he could return safely. The background music at this moment is also urgent and full of crisis, make those who are watching the video nervous. And when the wormhole came into everyone's eyes, it was like 3D, giving people an extremely depressing and frightening sense of oppression. It's hard not to think of it. How much courage it takes to send a bomb into a wormhole. Countless people admire and worship Iron Man even more in their hearts. The sense of anticipation was full at this moment. Can he really succeed? Whoops. Iron Man flies with hay bomb. Cross countless streets immediately below the wormhole. Energy was suddenly concentrated on the 587 thruster, and then under the huge thrust, it went vertically upward. Look from afar, the way Iron Man pushed the bomb towards the wormhole was like a mortal fighting against a god. That sentence came to their minds. With the power of mortal, he can rival the gods. A sad sound sounded in the background. Sadness, despair, and a hint of relief. It made countless people feel depressed. Immediately afterwards, Iron Man was seen entering the wormhole alone. There is darkness everywhere. And above, there is a space warship with a strong sense of oppression. When the camera came inside the armor and the electronic screen above showed that the call failed, Iron Man's energy had been exhausted, and then he fell downwards. See this scene. Countless people choked. My heart couldn't stop trembling, filled with sadness and loneliness unexpectedly, until the end. He was not able to get on the phone with his beloved. You can even experience a feeling that is more lonely than sinking to the bottom of the sea. That is to be in darkness, still alone. Immediately afterwards, the missile flew towards the space warship. The explosive scene at the beginning appeared. When the camera turned, Tony Stark's eyes were staring straight ahead. When the light penetrated into the dark armor, people saw that he tightly closed his tear-filled eyes. See this scene. Countless people's hearts trembled crazily, and tears burst out from their eyes. Iron Man sent the bomb into the wormhole alone, cutting off all escape routes. After seeing that he finally destroyed the space warship, he closed his eyes willingly. At this time, countless people thought that what they saw was no longer Iron Man Tony Stark, but a superhero who saved the world on his own. He used all his energy to push the bullet. Why didn't he leave himself a way out? That's right, look at his eyes. It wasn't until he saw the light of the fire that he closed his eyes in relief. He felt that he had finally completed his mission. Sure enough, he is really someone who can sacrifice himself for others. The wormhole is already closing, and he can't get out. Only seen in the screen. When the space warship is destroyed. Wormholes are also affected. It is continuously aggregating, and the speed is very fast. It made countless people's hearts jump into their throats and they stared at the screen. The background music also suddenly sounded aged, scary and crisis-ridden music. It's hard not to think that Iron Man can't get out. The camera went below. Captain America, Thor and the Hulk looked up at the sky. It has been a long time since Iron Man showed up. Their hearts were extremely heavy, and they finally closed the wormhole. See this scene. Countless people's expectations and hopes felt shattered, and they all sighed, feeling extremely heavy and sad. But at this moment. A tight violin sounds. It made countless people feel nervous. Just when they all thought Iron Man couldn't get out, and the wormhole had been closed. Sudden. Chapter 124. The camera turns. At the moment the wormhole closes, Iron Man fell out of the wormhole, and just when he was about to hit the ground, a huge green figure rushed into the sky, hugged him tightly, and then slammed to the ground. Boom. The sound of the impact hit everyone's heart like a giant hammer. Everyone raised their arms and shouted excitedly, "Iron Man, he's back. Yes. Hulk, my hero. He's back. He's back." I almost thought he would stay in that wormhole forever. It's really scary to be alone in the dark. So, this also shows the courage and will of Iron Man. He successfully saved the world. Yes, he successfully saved the world. But, when he later created Ultron, didn't he almost destroy the world? How do you explain this? Right. Now. A barrage attracted the attention of countless people. The excitement just now was completely dissipated. They all fell into deep thought. Can't say no. During the Battle of New York, Iron Man single-handedly saved the world. But the subsequent Ultron is also an indelible fact. But at this moment. Lin Lan's deep and magnetic voice sounded. The background music gradually became calmer and soothing, calming the hearts of countless people. Before, he built steel armor to protect himself. After that, he built steel armor to protect the world. Now, he understands the responsibilities on his shoulders, and understands the meaning given by this armor. Sending the bomb into the wormhole caused him to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and he was always worried about the invasion of foreign enemies. Because of this, he always prepared for rainy days, and wanted to arm the whole world. But, is this the only thing that motivated him to do this? Of course not. Lin Lan finished speaking. People agreed. That's right. From this moment on, Iron Man has understood the responsibilities on his shoulders and the experience of entering a black hole alone and almost never coming back. Everyone will have psychological shadow. So there's nothing wrong with him wanting to build steel armor to protect the world. However, when Lin Lan's last words rang out. The expectations of countless people were filled. At this moment. What else happened that stimulated Iron Man's desire to protect the world? They were glued to the screen, eager to know what was going on. Video continues. The spiritual scepter once again caught people's eyes, and in front of it, the figure of Tony Stark appeared. See this scene. People recalled that the spiritual scepter was taken away by Hydra. So at this time, it should be what happened when they came to take back the scepter. But at this moment. The music suddenly became tight and intense. I saw Wanda suddenly appear, came to Tony's side, and then used magic to disrupt his mind. Then the scene suddenly changes. People who were watching the video understood that this was the illusion that Tony saw. But It was dark all around. A huge whale-like space warship is hovering in the sky. Full of pressure and loneliness. It reminds me of everything in the wormhole just now. But isn't this what excites him? Why does the author say more than this? Don't quite understand. Just when everyone was confused. The camera suddenly moved downward from the warship above. I saw corpses strewn all over the ground. Captain America, Thor, Hulk and other Avengers members were all lying on the ground. Captain America's shield was broken. Thor was lying on the ground helplessly and vomiting blood. The Hulk was twitching constantly, and Natasha was dying. Along with the tense music, countless people's nerves became tense. They held their breaths, and their hearts were beating non-stop. The visions that the heroes in the previous videos saw were themselves only Iron Man. Tony saw his companions and the invasion of foreign enemies, and what's even more terrifying is every scene of these heroes has been seen in previous videos. Hiss. Countless people took a breath of cold air. This scene gave them a huge shock. Holy crap. It turns out that Tony has foreseen the outcome of these people. I thought only the Battle of New York stimulated him, but I didn't expect to see my companions die in front of me. This kind of spiritual attack is the most terrifying thing, so this is why he can't wait to arm the world. Not only to protect the world, but also to protect his companions. It seems that Iron Man is not selfish. On the contrary, he really did too much towards his friends and the world. He really sacrificed too much. The most important thing is that no one understands him yet. Are you angry or not? Didn't the author say that in the face of others' incomprehension, Iron Man Tony still insists on himself, just as countless people lamented that this scene must have dealt a huge blow to Tony Stark. But I didn't expect that the next scene would be the most important thing. Ding. Just when people are talking. The sudden sound of music made countless people feel shocked and startled. Then I saw Tony Stark coming to Captain America. Suddenly the latter grabbed his arm, and then his voice trembled, and he said slightly reproachfully, "You could have saved us. Why didn't you try your best?" Finished. 1. Can see Tony Stark's whole body shaking in the video. He was blaming himself. Why he didn't do more. Why do all these things happen? When countless people saw this scene, their hearts felt as if they were being grabbed by a hand, and they were suffocated to the point that they couldn't breathe. Boom. Just when Captain America finished saying this, the video shows Tony Stark being frightened by nightmares while sleeping, but not waking up. Every bounce. It was as violent as a giant hammer hitting people's hearts. I couldn't help but feel sorry for him even more. Now they know what Iron Man Tony Stark is carrying the whole world on his shoulders. Carrying the entire Avengers. Boom. That screen appears again. Then people saw Iron Man solve the whiplash and save the city. Boom. Appearing again. I saw Iron Man pushing crazily in the engine of the mothership. Save yourself from the mistake you made by creating Ultron, and stick to the starting device with all the members. Boom. Appearing again. Lead the other half of the Avengers to fight against Captain America. See this scene. The hearts of countless people were beating loudly. Only now do they know that Iron Man has done so many things. It's like he never takes a break. If you're not solving disasters, you're making steel armor. Really, they all felt tired for him. What's more, what about himself? How tiring that must be. Really, he has done enough. He is so tired, but he himself thinks that he has not done enough. The words he heard in the vision may have been urging him to do more. But why don't you think about yourself? Maybe it's just like what the author said. He could have lived selfishly, but he became a superhero and kept sacrificing himself. When this barrage comes out. Chapter 125. Countless people's eyes were red. Before, they thought Iron Man was a very selfish person. But now it seems that there is no selfishness at all. For the sake of the world, he did not hesitate to enter the wormhole. He goes out of his way to save his friends, but he always feels that he has not done enough. At this time. Lin Lan's voice sounded again. The background music also gradually becomes sad. He always feels that he has not done enough, and he always feels that he can do better. From a cynical guy to a superhero who is always thinking of others. Isn't there a time when he was confused? This time, he lost his mind. The Words just fell. The anticipation of countless people was instantly heightened. They knew Tony Stark was always thinking of others. What happened to make him lose his mind? They stared at the screen. Crazy to know. Jun Yankee Yiki Urgiu Mark Sebastian. Thanks to readers Dada 2207, FJSHFVG and 13971 for their monthly votes. 83. The hatred of parents makes countless people feel sad. Mr. Stark has done so much. At this moment, Spider-Man, who was watching the video, exclaimed. He thought his idol Captain America had done enough. But I didn't expect Tony Stark to do more, completely beyond his imagination. Peter Parker vaguely remembers that sentence. With great power comes great responsibility. But when applied to Tony Stark, this sentence is not worthy of him. That's right. This sentence is not worthy of Tony Stark. It's obvious that he doesn't have a body like Hulk, Thor or Captain America, and it's obvious that he didn't have the consciousness to become a hero from the beginning. But he went far beyond that. The responsibilities on his shoulders are completely beyond his capabilities, so much so that he works hard every time. Boom, boom, boom. Think of this. Peter Parker was shocked. The look he looked at Tony Stark was full of awe and admiration. It's not just him. Nick Fury, Banner, T'Challa, Wanda, Captain America who is accompanying Peggy, Doctor Strange who is drinking tea with Ancient One, and Thor who is a god. Everyone was shocked. It felt like a huge wave had set off in my heart, and I couldn't calm down for a long time. Who would have thought that a person who doesn't look like a superhero at all would sacrifice himself for others every time? However, when they heard the author say that Iron Man was also confused and lost his mind once, the anticipation was rising like crazy. What happened to a guy who turned around and became a superhero? What happened to make him lose his mind? That's what everyone in the universe who is watching the video wants to know. Video continues. Whoops. The north wind howls. It reminds countless people of the place where Captain America and Iron Man fought last time. I suddenly thought of it. They still don't know why these two superheroes are fighting. Hiss. Yes, last time I wanted to know why the two of them were fighting. No wonder I think Iron Man is so irrational. Could it be that this is what the author was talking about? That's right. It should be this time. I feel like there must be something irritating Iron Man, accompanied by tense music. The hearts of countless people were also hanging in a knot. Focus all your attention on the video. Crazy to know what happened. At this time, Captain America and Bucky appeared on the screen. One of them holds a shield in front, and the other holds a gun in the back for defense, as if they are defending something. Seeing this scene, people got it. This is what happens before Captain America and Iron Man fight. After all, Bucky's arm is intact at this time. So keep reading. Captain America and Bucky keep pushing forward. At this time, the door ahead sounded. Countless people are as nervous as the two people in the video, staring ahead, ready to fire at any time. Just when they thought a war was about to begin, sudden, a familiar red armor caught people's eyes. It's Iron Man. You're a little on guard today. It's not easy today. Hey, soldier, I'm not here for you. When Iron Man said these words, people were puzzled. Not for Bucky. So what is Iron Man here for? Damn it. You didn't come here for Bucky? Then why did you beat him so fiercely and wanted to kill Bucky? I don't know. Maybe their civil war isn't over yet? Do you want an end to it? I don't know. I'm hung up by the suspense created by this author again. Damn. Accompanied by exciting music. The expectations of countless people have once again increased by a degree. I even complained in my heart that the author's method of setting up suspense has become much better. Obviously in the Captain America video before, Iron Man wanted to kill Bucky. As a result, you tell me now. Isn't Iron Man here for him? Good guy. What's going on with this curiosity? Then, what are you doing, Captain America asked what everyone wanted to ask in one sentence. Iron Man, what are you doing here? Maybe what you said is not that ridiculous. Maybe Rose doesn't know I'm here, and I don't want him to know. Otherwise I will arrest myself. Looks like there's a lot of paperwork to do. Nice to see you again, Tony. Me too, Captain. Hey, brainwashed soldier. It's okay if I'm defeated by you. We have a truce. You can put down the gun when Tony said this to Bucky. Countless people seemed to understand. Iron Man took the initiative to find Captain America and disobeyed orders in order to stop the civil war among the Avengers. He is unwilling to give up his friends. This makes people even more confused. Not for Bucky, and certainly not for a fight with Captain America. So why are they fighting? But just when they had deeper doubts, the music suddenly goes silent. That's right. Quiet. The silence that made the surrounding air freeze. Only seen in the video. Iron Man, Captain America and Bucky stood in front of a computer. The camera zooms in. The computer is playing this surveillance video. And also shows the time, 1991.12.16. It's a long time ago. At this time. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.